National Park Service. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. That's Eddie Bader there, my trusty co-host.
How you doing, buddy?
Most days. How you doing?
I'm all right. A little busy today.
A little busy today?
Yeah.
You, what do you call it? Real estating?
Real estating, baby. Gonna do a lot of
real estate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Shaking hands, kissing babies, making deals.
Taking photos of stuff?
Yes, Joey.
Wait, you still do the real estate voice when you do those videos?
I'm trying to get away from it, but you find yourself in the middle of it. Great.
Yeah. Can you imagine being a real estate agent in Los Angeles, California right now?
Well, Joey, you
It's
have a lot of calls.
Crazy.
It's absolutely crazy, and I don't think they have any of it. As of this morning, they had 0% contained. 0%.
No, it's we're going to get into all the details. And in fact, let's continue the conversation here. Welcoming him back. We had kind of a long period here where we didn't talk to one another, at least publicly, during the holiday season. So let's welcome back the one, the only Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show there at 106.5 FM in the Mobile Fairhope area. And of course, he is editor-in-chief at 1819news.com. Jeff, how you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me back on.
Thanks for being back on. Good to be in the regular swing of things. And as we were talking about on your show earlier this morning, you actually have colleagues. You still work at Breitbart as well, and you have colleagues out there in the middle of all this. What are they saying?
Well, so in our headquarters is in L.A., in Brentwood, to be precise. But two of my colleagues, one of the chief executives of the company, he thinks lost his home because of these fires in kind of between Malibu and Pacific Palisades. But another one of my colleagues, you see him in the media, like Joe Pollock, he may have lost his home too.
Oh.
And then I I'm still an editor at Breitbart, and I still have two employees, one in D.C. and one in L.A. Well, she lives in Pasadena, and she's sending me photos from her front yard, and the wind's blowing away from her house, so she's not in danger, and the wind is what's really driving this, guys. But the sky is just lit up like a fireball. It looks like something out of a movie.
Yeah, and I was about to say, a lot of these places, even if you've never even been to California, if you watch movies, you've seen a lot of Los Angeles. And to see these places, somebody put out a video where they're kind of away on the across from where Santa Monica is. Like, since Santa Monica seemed fine, like my dad spent some time working there. And then he started panned over, and then you see the plume.
Yeah.
It almost just looks like a flood of smoke just crawling. You couldn't even see the flames. This is downright biblical, but mostly they're blaming the 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, let me say this. With Breitbart and all the conservative leanings and whatnot, even these guys who are there, here's what they would tell you. The government in California sucks. Karen Bass is an avowed communist, and, the city of L.A. does not function very well at all. But it's not necessarily the government's fault, okay? You have 80-mile-per-hour winds. You have hurricane-force winds that are blowing these embers around, and everything is so tightly compacted. I mean, this is an act of God. And guess what? The trick will be is, how does the act of man respond to the act of God? And that's where we could talk about politics.
Yeah, well, I hope they move swiftly. And, I mean, let's not forget about the folks, say, in North Carolina in particular. I think there are folks still without power as the winter turned pretty cold here. So it's a big question about our emergency response capabilities nationwide. And I know a lot of folks are already getting into the climate change conversation. There's some really ugly stuff out there about karma. I think somebody posted something about karma for James Woods, the actor who lost one of his house, I believe. And I just hope we don't get into the nastiness and actually respond to this, because it's heartbreaking, and I can't imagine living through that. We've got a clip coming up where it's a middle-aged woman who had to move her almost 90-year-old parents out of the way. She's trying to use the hose to save the home they've been in their entire life. They've been paying fire insurance for decades. Their fire insurance had just been canceled. So it's tragedy after tragedy, and you know people personally. I just hope it doesn't get too nasty out there with the politics.
Yeah, but I think it will head in that direction ultimately. But like here we are for once. One of these tragedies, one of these disasters. It's hitting a place where Democrats run the show. There's no Republican leadership in the city of Los Angeles County, or in the state of California that's meaningful in this scenario. And I'm not ready to politicize this. I don't think that is, and I would hope the left would do the same, or have somebody on the left would have the same sensibilities, because like here in 10 days or so, Joey, you're going to have a new president.
Yeah.
And if this was going on and Trump was president, what we'd be hearing? Donald Trump doesn't care about California. He probably doesn't even. He's too busy trying to conquer Canada or something. And that's the way they would turn the attacks around. That's what's going to happen. Now, I have no idea where Joe Biden is, if he's even still, with it. But it's just like I don't. Things happen for reasons beyond government's control sometimes, and we need to keep that in perspective. That government isn't your deity. It's a response. It's a product of man. And you got to realize it doesn't have deity-like powers to stop, natural disasters like this.
Well, and I think right now I'm looking at Trump this morning, I believe, put out a statement talking about how Newsom, of course, refers to him as Newscomb, refused to sign water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snowmelt from North California to flow to many other parts of California. He's saying he wants to, when he's president, demand this incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water, in all caps, to flow in California. He is to blame for this. So the politics has already begun. I did hear the guy who ran for mayor there in Los Angeles and lost to Karen Bass also saying, no water for fire hydrants, especially say in the Palisades. So I think there are some long-term issues here that maybe could have helped mitigate some of the problem.
Yeah, and then I just have to respectfully disagree with the president. I just don't think it's a good time for that. But could they have done little things different? Yeah, but do we know for sure that if those reservoirs had been full, or it might have made fighting the fires a lot easier? But would it made a difference? I mean, I'm just telling you, there's just some things that man can't withstand, and I think these Santa Ana winds, and just certain things like that. When nature comes together, it's hard to put the blame on government. We want government to be everything in our lives. We want politicians to pull off miracles, but we just got to keep that in check sometimes.
I agree. I certainly agree. Well, and again, folks, we're talking to Jeff Poor, editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com, hosts his own radio show in the mornings. And I'm looking at 1819news.com right now, an article Craig Mauger wrote up, linking to a Fox News sit-down with Bret Baier. And I've named, in part, this show, Jeff, here, Besties for the Resties. We got Fetterman and Katie Britt, who are just arm in arm. And actually, I think it works in terms of, like, watching Fetterman still having trouble speaking. Does John Fetterman actually have sort of the key to the future of the Democratic Party, being sort of this populist, common sense guy from Pennsylvania? Do you think he's onto something here?
I don't know. He may just be assuming the Joe Manchin role, and there's a lot of, or Kristen Sinema. There's power in that. There's virtue in that. There is a reason to be there. I mean, number one, it identifies with his politics and throughout Pennsylvania. And number two, when you're kind of you could be the deciding vote on a lot of different things, and things come your way. I don't know if that's the future. I had Tuberville on, I had Barry Moore on, and that was my question for them is like, is there any chance? Is there any hope that Democrats are not just going to say never Trump, never Republican, and they could be they would be against a declaration saying the sky is blue because Trump is for it, or because some Republican is for it? Is there any chance that mentality is going away? And he, it's just like, no, probably not.
Yeah. It is frustrating, but the good news is, especially I'd imagine you talking to Coach, he's happy to be in a majority. I think I haven't talked to her, but I imagine Senator Britt is as well. And it looks like certain things are going to get accomplished, whether it's Coach with the Title IX, protecting women's sports, which I know the junior senator is co-sponsored, or this Laken Riley Act, which Senator Britt has pushed hardcore. And it looks like they now have, I think, 4 Democrats in the Senate. So it does seem like there's going to be some productive work that a lot of conservatives have wanted, at least for the last few years.
Yeah, I think so. It's just got to move fast. I keep comparing this to this moment in 2017, and I remember, man, everybody was so excited about President Trump, and I remember Mitch McConnell, I remember John Cornyn, I remember the whole evolution of the Mueller probe, and it was nothing but a stall ball game. They were just trying to slow him down, and they were dragging their feet on. Republicans were dragging their feet on everything. They weren't allowing recess appointments. They were doing things to make Trump's life a lot harder, and I hope we don't repeat that.
Yeah, I hope not as well. And I don't think Trump is going to fall for what happened before. And God bless Jeff Sessions. I think he got screwed by the intelligence community and the corporate media. I think so did Michael Flynn. And thus, Trump got screwed to begin with. And I just, unless they pull off something nobody's expecting, I don't see that exact same play this time. And hopefully we will move, or there's going to be a hell to pay, I guess. I say that. I mean, what do you make of this now new environment media-wise? It's very clear that X and sort of the new media, alternative media, picked a president, working along with some legacy arms. But do you think somebody like Elon Musk and all the big voices there on just the X platform, Zuckerberg changing his tune at Facebook, does this new media have the ability to sort of tell the Senate, tell the House, hey, you better do this or else?
I don't know it's quite that far along yet, but I do think this. I mean, the Zuckerberg news yesterday was no small thing.
Right.
And, he may be indeed trying to cozy up to the Trump administration or whatever, but I said this at the time. It wasn't a business model along for this world to have these hall monitor system that was ruling over Facebook, that people just didn't want to be taught to like children by, some kind of superior elite far away. Hey, you can't say the 2020 election was stolen. That's disinformation. People would walk away from that and they'll go post somewhere else on some other platform. I always thought that would be the case. And I think after a few years, Zuckerberg's kind of at that place too, where he's like, look, these social media platforms are great. We're able to monetize them, but they're going to, at some point, they're going to go in another direction. We need to get with where the country is and not where they told us it was.
We shall see. And before I let you go, I don't often read other folks' op-eds, but I did, I guess on Monday, read your op-ed about the whole David Bronner calling out conservatives for they want us to do nothing. They don't ever offer positive solutions. At this point in Alabama politics, how powerful is David Bronner, and how much sway does, say, his word in the Advisor have in this state at this point?
I don't know how much his word in the Advisor means. I don't think it means as much as it does just him in the Montgomery circle. He's one of the most powerful men in the state. He essentially came after the conservatives, including yours truly. He came after me twice last week in that Advisor piece, and he wrote a letter to the editor to Lagniappe, where I also have a column criticizing yours truly. And his point is this: like, look, you guys, all y'all ever do is complain and gripe. You fault gambling. You never offer solutions. And here we are trying to give you a solution to your problems, and you oppose us at every place. Well, I would say this to the guy that's been in government for 50 damn years, and to come after conservatives, civilians who don't collect a government salary. David Bronner is the highest paid bureaucrat in this state. It is not my job. It is not Jeff Bohr's job to come up with solutions to problems. I have a First Amendment right to criticize what he and others have been doing in this state as long as I have been alive. And look, he's been around for 50 years, one of the most powerful men in Montgomery, and things are still rotten. They're still terrible. I don't think it needs to be put on people who are telling you your ideas are dumb. Look, you've got a Republican supermajority legislature, and you've got Republican constitutional officers up and down the line there. We don't want big government Democrat solutions. It's just not going to work. Come up with something better.
Amen. Absolutely. Amen. And I think the so-called solutions on offer also just, it's a drop in the bucket, right? Say the gambling thing. Even if you get the highest estimates and you lay this out in your piece, that's still a drop in the bucket of the things the state actually has to face. And when I look at the massive ETF and a general fund that's already, the prisons issue is going to drain the general fund. Medicaid is also a big pull in the general fund. And I think we've often, and especially Montgomery, with a shooting in broad daylight on Zelda Road yesterday, it was just shocking. I think it was a beef or a hit or something in broad daylight. When you look at, okay, we need police better, but these kids are put out back on the street. So you look at the judiciary, that's also part of the general fund. To me, I would combine both budgets, and I would start to break up what Paul Hubbard built. Not necessarily with a wrecking ball, but I think we have to change. We can't keep reacting to like, oh, remember what the bourbon Democrats used to do and they let everybody linger. Now let's, I think we need to change a lot of the way the state functions in order to actually respond to issues. But I'd imagine Mr. Bronner wouldn't like that very much.
Well, I agree with you. And Joey, look, in 2010, Mike Hubbard led the charge, and they stormed the State House, and Republicans have control of state government, but Republicans have just grown government, and they conflate more government with being the answer to our prayers, and that's not what Republicans are supposed to do. And, so I would say, two things about that. Yeah, they're conflating the two. Bigger, more government, more money for schools or whatever is not necessarily the solution. I understand it takes money to fix a lot of things, but not with some of these government programs. But number two, I don't agree with these people on what they say is ailing the state, Joey. I disagree. Like, they say that this is a problem and we need more Medicaid. I disagree with that. I reject that. Your diagnosis of the problem, David Bronner, is not the diagnosis of the will of the people. They don't see that as the problem that's holding them back, that is diminishing their quality of life. You are out of touch, and you just need to stick to your job, collect your paycheck, drive around in your state vehicle, chomping on your cigar down I-85, and stay out of the chattering class business.
Yeah, I guess he's $1 million man, or just shy of it, on his salary. Pretty incredible. Just something's got to give in the state, and maybe the changes are coming with new leadership. But I always appreciate your time, Jeff. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, think about, talking about, how can they do so?
X.com/Jeff_Poor.
Appreciate it as always. Good to be back in the swing of things. We'll do it next week, man.
Thanks again, Joey.
Again, folks, Jeff Poor there. Always appreciate his time. I mean, what's your sense of this, Eddie? I'm not asking for, give me a detailed solution to the problem right now, young man. Mm-hmm. But it does, I think Jeff's exactly right. The way they frame the issues facing the state is fairly incorrect.
Touch. It's just out of touch, man. I mean, for your everyday comment, maybe those are issues that he sees from his high on the hill. But the rest of us down here, we got much bigger problems in there.
And what I find
not even touching them.
Fascinating is you even now have Democrats who I think are wise politically, like Anthony Daniels, saying, no, we need to cut taxes and maybe let's dynamically score the revenue. Because if you look at, say, just the ETF, the revenue has gone up pretty big and the spending has gone up. Right. And that's not just the influx of this federal money during COVID.
No, and that's, if you notice that, the more money you give them, the more they're going to spend, Joey.
Right.
But that goes for me. The more you give me, the more I'll spend. You don't have to tax me to death. I'll spend it. I'll put the money back in the economy better than you will.
Right. I mean, something's got to give in this state. And I don't put it as there are these evil forces at work. I mean, maybe there are.
There's a few.
I think it's more we have a bunch of reasonable managers who are not incompetent. They're very competent people, very smart people, just terms of raw IQ. They're competent, reasonable managers, and we have been competently, reasonably managed to death in this state. What you need, and it doesn't happen often, is somebody with a little bit of vision and willing to shake things up. I don't know who that person will be. Maybe it is Will Ainsworth. Maybe Tommy Tuberville runs for governor. Maybe Admiral Kent Davis runs for governor. I don't know. Or somebody whose name we haven't brought up and they really capture the imagination of the people of Alabama. One thing Jeff and I talked about this morning on his show is we really need an open primary for governor.
Yes, sir.
Because if you think about when's the last time you actually had an open primary without an incumbent? It's been a long time.
A long time.
Because Bentley, of course, is out by that scandal. Ivy assumes that office. She gets a run as the incumbent, wins again as the incumbent. And so you're wondering, okay, do we actually get an open field this next time? Because that's when, and Jeff made this point to me, and he's absolutely right, that's when the people of Alabama can surprise you. When you have actual, a three-way, a four-way competition going on for the top seat here in state government.
Well, then everybody's got to put their ideas out there.
Right. And then when we go back to the beginning of the conversation here today, these fires are, man, I don't know even how to describe it other than the word biblical comes to mind.
Right. But the question is, I've heard all kinds of different reports from one fire to 5 different fires.
Yeah.
How'd the fire start? The wind didn't start them.
It's a good question.
And I'm not pointing fingers or anything, but I know at one point they said another fire had started. So that got me thinking, people in general, not just Californians, but people in general love chaos.
Well, no, and I kind of stored it as just a common sense fact that there are, of course, natural fires, but a lot of these are man-made, man-started. And I don't mean because of the effects of climate change long-term or the effects of water policy in California long-term. I mean, somebody went out there and they wanted chaos. Yeah. And they said it.
I've just seen that too many times to just say, oh, somebody had a barbecue grill that got out of hand. I don't think that was the case.
This
I think
video,
they saw the conditions and took advantage of it.
This video, it captured me, and it's just one data point, one anecdote, one story, human story. It's, let's see, ABC 7 out there, Eaton Fire, 400 acres and growing. They're live from Hastings Ranch. And what happens is the reporter runs into a woman out there. Let's listen in.
Me down. Hi there.
I know I'm not supposed to
That's fine. You decided not to leave.
I know I'm not supposed to be here, but this is my parents' home.
I know the feeling.
And they just lost. They got canceled from their fire insurance. So they're dealing with this. They're 90 years old. And through the state of California, because of this, they're 90 years old. That they've lived in this house for 75 years, and they've had the same insurance, and these insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance. So thank you, California insurance companies, supporting residents who pay taxes and love California. And they wonder why people leave California.
First and foremost, you did get your parents out safely.
I live in Sierra Madre, and my parents are in Sierra Madre, but...
And now you know that it is under evacuation as well, north of Sierra Madre Boulevard.
Yeah, I snuck here. You know, there's a will, there's a way.
Man.
But she brings up a good point. Somebody that's been down the insurance road and came out on the raw end of it.
Yeah.
There does need to be some huge reform. But these insurance companies got money like nobody's business.
Oh, yeah.
And in the real estate business, I see when people are buying new houses, they're getting insurance quotes. They're going up, up, and up to the point of double. A lot of coastal towns, you can't get insurance anymore.
Oh, yeah. No, and maybe, like in some of these areas, like don't build there.
There's a lot of that. But like she said, when you've
paid in for
75
years.
And there should be a time frame where, just like with a teacher,
Yeah.
when she's been a teacher or he's been a teacher for
Yes.
so long, there should be, but they don't. And I've been on the raw end of that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do except you call a company in England called Lloyd's of London.
That used to be the only place that would give wrestlers insurance.
And space shuttle.
Life insurance.
And people that just
Yeah.
lost their home to fire,
Right.
home insurance.
Now, this next clip is Rick Caruso, billionaire real estate developer. He ran for mayor against Karen Bass. And let's just listen to what he had to say.
My heart goes out, obviously, to the people with their homes, and I'm watching the small businesses around us go up in flames. This is people's livelihoods, so it's devastating. But what is most concerning to me is our first responders and our firefighters who are trying to battle this. There's no water in the Palisades. There's no water coming out of the fire hydrants. This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city. And I'm going to be very honest. We've got a mayor that's out of the country, and we've got a city that's burning, and there's no resources to put out fires. So if you look at your pictures, you don't see the firefighters there because there's nothing they can do. And it looks like we're in a third world country here. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of tough questions that we need to ask the mayor and the city council and our representatives and the county representatives. Why didn't you work to mitigate this? What was your brush mitigation program? I heard you earlier talking about it's been dry because there hasn't been rain. That's not the biggest problem here. The brush up in these hills that are controlled by the city and the county, I would bet you that if they haven't been handled, mitigated, pruned, removed for probably 30 or 40 years. This was a disaster waiting to happen. And what's predictable is preventable. And who's paying the price are all of these people in their homes and their businesses tonight. Now,
Now, this is reminding me of Katrina. It's a good rule of thumb. Some nations, some cities have figured it out. Like in Katrina, you don't build levees for the 100-year storm. You build them, you invest to protect from the 10,000-year storm. You don't do management of your forest in a way of like, well, it works most of the time. You have to plan for the worst-case scenario that you might have winds of this degree. It might be dry.
The winds there, nothing new, happens every year. But it sounds like, again, that maybe they had priorities looking somewhere else.
Well, and folks are pointing out we got a congressman from California talking about the multi-billion-dollar rail line they were trying to build out there, and just stuff like that. Where it used to be, and I don't think it is anymore. So goes California, so goes America.
No, not
California used to be the future of America. I don't think it is anymore.
Not at all. I think they went too far. America's just watching now.
I don't think it is economically. I don't think it is in terms of culture and entertainment. Doesn't have the same sway that it once did. All. And it's got to be awful for the folks who live there, who have lived there their whole lives, that like everybody else want a good life. It's just awful. But there are some folks that should have been paying attention over the years and right now who just didn't and didn't plan accordingly. That said, Jeff Poor's point stands. This is, in many ways, an act of God. It's just, my point is, don't underestimate what God, Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it, is capable of. The power of it. Don't ever underestimate it. Even if it doesn't happen for generations and generations and generations, it could happen. 272-9228 if you want to get on the conversation. Very quick break here. We'll be right back with some of these calls after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the River region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025 we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Hi, everybody. Our extended string of cold days and frigid nights will continue with Arctic air still in place. Sunshine, not as breezy today with a high temperature in the middle 40s. The coldest night of the week so far will be tonight. The overnight low temperature down to about 22, clear skies. Tomorrow, more sun, chilly, high 47. Then late Thursday night, early Friday, there could be a mix of some rain and maybe some snow and some freezing rain perhaps. Then that'll turn to all rain on Friday. We don't anticipate any travel problems in our part of the state, perhaps way up there in North Alabama, but we'll watch it closely. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low-price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Delray to Publix.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. That's 272-9228. Let's go to Terry. Hey, Terry, how are you?
Hey, about 3 years ago, Gavin Newsom come on, and of course he loves to hear himself talk, and he told everybody why this place is burning today 3 years ago. And he was taking $150 million from the Forestry Commission that does the controlled burns.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he wanted to stop the CO2s. California was polluting the air by doing that. So what do you think he's doing now? Polluting the air, and took the 150. All right, you know where the 150 a year goes? It goes to the people who need drugs on the street. They call them drug booths or whatever you want to call it. That something like a drug booth or whatever. You go in and get your heroin for free and all that. That's what's paying for it. That's
It's
what
nuts.
a lot of the money is going to it.
Well, and it's
You
just there's a lot in terms of the after action report, years of not just mismanagement, malfeasance, probably by many different government officials. But what sticks out is what that guy ran for mayor says. Why I played the clip. It's like there's not water for the fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Which is
you
ridiculous.
cut the power, you have no water, there's no generators to back it up. There's a lot to it. If you look into it, you'll see. And a lot of it's to do with Gavin Newsom.
Well, I appreciate the call, Terry.
He's burning his own place.
That's it. Thank you, Terry.
Let's go to Dave. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Pretty good. How you doing, Dave?
Good, man. By law, and this is all basically dictated by the Sierra Club, 82% of all rainfall water is basically allowed to free flow to the ocean.
Yep.
So only 18% is captured in reservoirs. So that basically tells you, the whole mentalities leading toward this. L.A. has only had 2/100ths of an inch of rainfall in the last 10 weeks, which normally they get about 3.5 inches. And on top of that, again, it's the Sierra Club that dictates all of the mitigation of forest and shrubs. So any kind of growth, you know full well that none of this has been done at the bidding of the Sierra Club as far as mitigating any undergrowth in those hills. And until, California can stop listening to the Sierra Club, and the people will have to demand it of the government.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to continue on.
I think you're right. And remember when Trump's first term, he talked about, and everybody, Trump says a thing, and people are like, well, that's crazy.
Yep.
Like, you need to rake the forest. You need to rake it. And people are like, oh, that's crazy. It's like, no.
It's basic maintenance.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Basic maintenance.
Exactly. And, the founder, earlier this year, the founder of the Sierra Club basically disavowed what they have become.
Oh, wow.
So, that's how far left they have gone, that even the founder, who was a liberal Democrat, disavowed them and where they've gone to.
Well, and I think it's just true in politics, left-wing causes and right-wing causes. Certain organizations, if they last long enough, they always become a grift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the cause kind of ends, but I still got to get money here somehow.
Right.
Yeah, and and when the Sierra Club was founded, it was a great idea.
Yes.
Because of what the logging industries and stuff like that were doing to the forest. But, the problem is, and you're not, even this is not going to change how the laws are dictated in California, because people are so beholden to the special interest eco-Nazis in that state. It'll never change.
Well, and of course, the lesson a lot of those folks are going to take out of this is we didn't do enough to stop climate change.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So they'll double down on their stupidity, at the behest of the special interest groups, and of course the average individual will suffer for it.
Right. It's just the hubris of it all. Like, you can't control the climate over hundreds of years. You can't even measure that. What you can do is come up with ways to adapt to predictable events, even when the predictable event seems rare. And that's just not the approach they've been taking.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
This is Trump a few months back, before he was elected in November. talking about California's water problems.
And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as water, what they call water flow, where where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border. And I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has. And the farmers up north are going to be able to use 100% of their land, not 1% of their land. And
several months ago, but not that long ago.
Well, they used to have a lake in Los Angeles. They just let it evaporate. Right. Sold it off as residential property.
And honestly, I don't know California. I know California in terms of its reputation and its cultural impact, yada, yada, yada.
A lot of cultural impact.
Who hasn't?
Yeah. From music to food to, yeah.
If you're, especially Gen X like you or millennial like me, we've consumed all the Hollywood movies.
Beverly Hills Cop.
All the shows and all that. Yeah. That's something that everybody knows, but I don't know California.
Right. Don't know it on
in
a
a way,
level.
it's like a foreign country to me.
You don't know it like you know Montgomery.
Right.
And same here.
Right. So I don't want to sit here and go, well, because I don't vote in California, yada,
Right.
yada, yada. This is up to the people who live there. And
but don't you have a vested interest as a United States
no, just
citizen?
I would say not even just as a citizen of the country. I would say just as a human being. There's part of me. It's like if this was happening in Norway, it's like this shouldn't happen. It's just an awful thing on a human level. And yeah, maybe the federal government can respond to certain things, but what a mess, an absolute mess. Hey, this part of the program. Brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you.
Yeah, they are.
Men out. And it could be you just want to get that testosterone checked. Like you're feeling fine, but you're just wondering, especially as you're starting to hit middle age. Like you're getting into your late 30s, 40s, and you're noticing a little bit of a slowdown. You might as well go get your testosterone checked.
Yeah.
But no matter your age, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and you're experiencing a lot of symptoms at once, like lack of energy, motivation, and drive, including a decrease in your libido and your sex drive, seeing loss of muscle mass and weight gain. It's not like you change your eating habits or how active you are during the day, and yet you're seeing these changes. Well, that very well could be a sign of low T. So just get by Montgomery Men's Health, and they'll conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change men's lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym.
Brother.
Better mental clarity. Thanks, brother. Improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido.
That's all right, Joe.
Yeah, more than all right. And you can actually book the same day that you call, gentlemen. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. I want to now go to, because we got a little time left in this,
All right.
before we move on to other topics. This is a congressman out of California, a Republican, and he's talking about California's high-speed rail project. Let's just listen into this.
Okay.
Together.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy to report that the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency has homed in on perhaps the single greatest example of government waste in United States history, and that is California's high-speed rail boondoggle. Here are the facts that the Doge X handle cited, all of which are true.
The guy's name is Kevin Kiley. He's a Republican from California's 3rd District. Oh, he represents Tahoe.
Tahoe.
We're going to be vacationing in Tahoe.
I'm so ready. Let's go.
I just always hear it in that voice.
Yeah, me too. Actually.
Like you and all the influencers and all the porn stars up there. I'm sure you're having a great time. Wholesome Tahoe.
Looks like a wholesome place.
Actually, Tahoe looks awesome. Yeah. Like I get it. Anyway, here's what Doge found, according to this congressman.
The high-speed rail project was originally projected in 2008 to cost $33 billion. It is now projected to cost up to $127.9 billion. Wow. Its estimated completion date was 2020. Of course, we are past 2020 now. Yeah. As of 2024, 0 passengers have been transported. Indeed, the majority of the system has not even been fully defined.
Hey, Alabama's manager, reasonable, competent, reasonable managers. Mm-hmm. More money doesn't mean necessarily doing a good thing.
No, it does not.
Thank God we don't have the amount of money California has. Can you imagine this state with the amount of money that California has?
We'd be 10 times as broke.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Designed. And yet, it has received $6.8 billion in federal funds, and they're requesting an additional $8 billion in federal funds. In short, the cost has quadrupled, and nothing has been built. Nothing. Or actually, I'm being a little bit unfair. There was an announcement earlier this year in May where the High-Speed Rail Authority, which really has to strain to come up with milestones to advertise to the public. There was a lot of hoopla surrounding the unveiling of an $11 billion bridge to nowhere that took 9 years to build, which is about the only thing that the High-Speed Rail Authority has to show for its efforts
just a bridge.
Over the last 16 years.
It's like it's
just a bridge. New York Times.
Maybe it was actually an art piece about existentialism.
That would be better because what is one bridge in the middle of nowhere going to do? Hey, one day we're going to hook up a rail to that bridge.
Well, that's a good question Nietzsche might have asked.
Jeez Louise.
Is man coming and going? Is he just a rope, a bridge to something more beyond himself? Maybe that's the reason for the bridge to nowhere. That's a pretty expensive thing to
I think it was
get into
brother-in-law needed some cash, and there's a spot we can build a bridge.
Absolutely insane.
Times did an expose, the New York Times, reporting that at the current pace, the high-speed rail project will not be completed this century. I actually asked Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg about this, whether he agreed with the New York Times assessment, and he said, oh yeah, it'll be completed this century, although I gave him several opportunities to give his own best estimation of when it will be completed, and he declined to do so. To give you a sense of how bad things are, in the early days of the project, the lead operator abandoned the project to go and build a rail system in North Africa because they said that there it was, quote, less politically dysfunctional than California. That operator, by the way, brought a high-speed train online in Morocco in 2018. So high-speed trains are not impossible to build. Californians, Americans travel abroad and they ride them. And they say, why can't we have them here? It's just impossible in California because of stratospheric levels of political incompetence. Indeed, the head of the California High-Speed Rail Authority testified last year that the project is $100 billion short in funding, in spite of all of the billions that have been poured in by California taxpayers and through federal support, still a $100 billion funding gap. Actually, this was the former head of the Rail Authority because they've since gotten a new one, and they're now up to 5 CEOs throughout the life of the project. So the number of CEOs outnumber the number of passengers 5-0. And what are some of the things that some of these past leaders of the high-speed rail project have had to say about it? Well, you can ask Michael Tenenbaum, who was the first chairman of the High-Speed Rail Authority, who said, quote, I realized the system didn't work. I don't know how they can build it now. Or there is Dan Richard, the longest-serving chairman of the California High-Speed Rail Authority, who said, I don't think it is an existing project. It is a loser. Or Rich Tomac, the head of the California Rail Foundation, who said it will never be operable. Jerry Brown, former governor of California, and perhaps the biggest supporter of the project, has derided the train, opponents of the train, as small-minded people. But this is an incredibly small-minded project. In fact, it's a non-existent project at this point in time. But even if built, even if the high-speed train, quote-unquote high-speed, magically materializes by the end of the decade, it will still be yesterday's technology. China right now is working on a train that they are planning to complete by the end of the decade that will go up to 1,000 kilometers per hour. So at this point, it is past time to stop throwing good money after bad. We should end all federal support for the high-speed rail project because that federal support is keeping the project on life support and is then forcing California taxpayers to continue to pay billions and billions of dollars more.
And think of that amount of money. That's a lot of money. What that could go to.
They've blown it. They ought to make them stop it today and then start the payment plan to get the money back.
Absolutely crazy. We got to hit this break first. This part of the program brought to you by Sweet Creek Farm Market. Stop by Sweet Creek Farm Market. Go see Reed Ingram and the whole team there. And they're ready to help you out with it, like a great warm lunch there at the cafe.
I'm looking right now on their Facebook page. They
Yeah.
made a big old pot of chicken and rice soup for the upcoming cold, which is today, tomorrow. So you could definitely go by there and get some of that. Then they've got quite a selection of soups from Chili's. They've got
Do you still get the chicken and
Kemp's
dumpling?
stew. I'm looking. Yes, there it is.
That looks
It looks
amazing right
amazing.
now.
It really does look good. And on a cold day like today and what we got coming up, I would definitely go by there and stock up.
And of course, they have those hard to find like jams and jellies
Oh,
that
yeah.
you might remember from your childhood, or it could be
Jalapeno
like
jelly.
I don't mean this in a bad way, like little knickknacks, little like Alabama made products
Oh, yeah.
that you're not going to find anywhere else. Also, you can just do some basic grocery shopping. Like I've bought milk there before. I've bought meat there before. Like you can get butter, all sorts of things from locally sourced farmers and folks here in the state. Sweet Creek Farm Market, it's a beautiful property. Not only can you get a great coffee or lunch there at that award-winning cafe or shop that amazing market they have, it's just a great place to take the kids, have a little fun, let them run around with the chickens, the whole playground area. It really is a family-friendly establishment. So, again, y'all get by, see Reed Ingram there at Sweet Creek Farm Market. And, of course, you can always like them on the Book of Faces, a very active Facebook page, so you can see the latest things like Eddie just did. What they got going on there. And be sure to tell Reed Ingram that Joey and Eddie, those guys on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
Before you buy new floors at a discount store and get them installed by the cousin of a friend who does this kind of thing, consider the better option. Prattville Carpet carries the most reputable brands for selection, style, and quality you can trust. And with their non-transferable lifetime installation warranty, you'll never have to worry about hardwood warping or carpet buckling. Your floors will stay as beautiful as the day they installed them.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing today?
Having a great day, Joey. What's going on with you?
Oh, we're having fun, though. Just a little unnerved from the fires out there in Los Angeles. That's the human tragedy right now. It's on a scale like crazy at the moment. Pretty nuts.
Yeah, man, it's sad. It seems like we can't catch a breath of air between New Orleans and the Tesla blowing up at the Trump Towers, now the fires out west, and I guess for the local listeners, I'm sure you guys heard of Zelda Road yesterday and the shooting that took place in Montgomery. So I mean, we're in a place right now, like you said, where I just feel like we can't catch our breath. And I lived on the West Coast for a while, a lot of friends in LA, and been checking on them. And luckily, no one I know directly has been severely impacted, but certainly they all have people that have been. So they're in our thoughts and prayers right now. It's a weird start to the year, man.
Yeah, but here's a note you just told me off the air. I wrote an op-ed for 1819 News a little while back, really encouraging Alabama to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, at least allow the state treasurer to put a certain amount in. I know the state auditor right now, Andrew Sorrell, is very much an advocate of that idea, and this is happening nationwide, right?
Yeah, so you and I had this discussion a month or so ago about, do I think a Bitcoin reserve is a good or a bad idea at the federal level, and do I think it's feasible? And my response then is the same it is now, which is if it happens, which I think is in the past few weeks has been clear to me that it's probably more likely to happen, is that it will be done in secrecy for the most part. You're not going to have these major federal announcements that, hey, we're buying X amount of Bitcoin in the reserve. That's not how they do it with any asset class for that matter. But what I saw come across my feed is that 14 states have now approved the right for a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the state treasuries. So normally when you get a movement with this many states involved, it tends to work its way up to the federal level, but it's not without lobbying efforts on both ends. So, I'm sure big banks will lobby against it unless they have some type of benefit or subsidy coming to them. So, I compare it to, legalizing marijuana, right? Like, you got a bunch of states that have legalized it, but there are plenty of states that don't want it. It's not legal federally, and it's kind of the same niche to a degree, that Bitcoin is still pretty new. The older demographic isn't really trustworthy or even understands it, but the new folks are like, we don't really care. We own Bitcoin. We pay for stuff in Bitcoin. We invest in Bitcoin. And whether the states and the federal government do it, that's up to them. But it's a wave that's already made its way across, the nation in a younger generation. And I think even my dad and even my granddad, to a degree, who's pretty tech savvy and likes to make, speculative investments from time to time, is intrigued. And so now that you have 14 state governments slated to, approve this for their strategic reserve this month, it's only a positive tailwind for cryptocurrency in general, is my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll see as we head into the new year. But of course, that's part of the larger economic picture. And how is that looking as we are early in 2025?
Yeah, so the year has not started out that hot, pretty choppy, markets up and down. Today, everything's relatively flat. We will get jobs reports on Friday, and I think you'll see, pretty swift movement up or down depending on what we get in the report. But I think this year is going to be a tough year where we will probably continue this euphoria for maybe a month or so. I just don't see any scenario this year where we don't have a 10 to 15% correction in the broader market, which for me would be the S&P 500. So, in our meeting today, we are looking to get more targeted. We really like the pharmaceuticals have been beat up a little bit. We think there's a potential for that to go up a little bit this year. Maybe the AI play is, a lot of people think the AI play is overbought. We don't really subscribe to that thought. We think there's a lot of room for upward mobility in AI. And then we really like these critical minerals, cobalt, nickel, copper, these types of, lithium and platinum. I've said it before, but with all the technology that we're using, AI, electric vehicles, autonomous driving, all of these, critical minerals are required for their production. So I think by the end of the year, those are going to be significantly higher. And so rather than just making a broad market play on a year where everything goes up, like 2024, throw a dart at a board, anything you touch is going to turn to gold, or just buy S&P, close your eyes, and you're up 30% at year end. I don't picture 2025 following that track. And so we have begun to offload broad risk and take more targeted risk in the areas that I just explained.
Oh, beautiful. And of course, we're talking to Austin Baranco with Invista Advisors. And if you're looking for a team that includes Austin that can help you manage your long-term financial future, and it's not just investments and sort of like what Austin was just talking about, it's they really get to know you, your family, your whole situation, and it's a holistic approach of helping you plan, meet all your needs for your financial future. That number, if you want to get in touch with them, it's 387-0094. That's 387-0094. Of course, you can always check them out at InvistaAdvisors.com. And when you get in touch with them, be sure to tell them, hey, I heard Austin Baranco on that radio show with that Joey Clark fella.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Joey, and I'll talk to you Friday.
Appreciate it, Austin. Should be a good Friday. Again, Austin Marenko with Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Justice Department plans to release the special counsel's findings on Donald Trump's 2020 presidential election interference. In a filing to a federal appeals court, the DOJ said it would make public the findings, but provide the classified documents section of that report only to the chairman and ranking members of the House and Senate Judiciary Committees. On the battlefront, Ukrainian officials say that a Russian missile attack on the southern Ukraine city of Zaporizhia has killed at least 13 civilians and injured about 30 others. And Alabama has scheduled its fourth execution by nitrogen gas. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey set a date of February 6th, execution date for Demetrius Frazier. The Dow was up 37 points, the Nasdaq adding 22. This is SRN News.
Making America great again starts with making America healthy again. You know, I lost over 50 pounds on the PhD weight loss and nutrition program. Nearly 3 years later, I've kept it off. You know why? Because I trusted Dr. Ashley Lucas and the terrific team at PhD Weight Loss. They've been making America healthy for over 10 years. Millions are being spent on weight loss injections that have harmful side effects and lifelong dependency. Do what I did. Take the natural approach that isn't connected to Big Pharma's bottom line. Based on science and nutrition, a proven roadmap that has helped over 8,000 clients lose weight and keep it off. You'll learn how to quiet the cravings, finally release that unhealthy belly fat. You won't be hungry, and you're never going to be taking a medication. How many pounds do you want to lose in 2025? PhD Weight Loss, leading the charge to make America healthy again. Text the word healthy to 717767. Just text the word healthy to 717767 or visit myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Hi, everybody. Our extended string of cold days and frigid nights will continue with Arctic air still in place. Sunshine not as breezy today with a high temperature in the middle 40s. The coldest night of the week so far will be tonight. The overnight low temperature down to about 22, clear skies. Tomorrow, more sun, chilly, high 47. Then late Thursday night, early Friday, there could be a mix of some rain and maybe some snow and some freezing rain perhaps. Then that'll turn to all rain on Friday. We don't anticipate any travel problems in our part of the state, perhaps way up there in North Alabama, but we'll watch it closely. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A man was shot and killed in Midtown Montgomery on Tuesday afternoon. Police responded to the Chevron gas station on Zelda Road, where 24-year-old Rodriguez Harris was pronounced dead from a gunshot wound. Mayor Stephen Reed announced the apprehension and arrest of those involved on social media late last night. No further details were given. A middle school student in Elmore County collapsed after a basketball game during PE on Tuesday. The 7th grader at Redland Middle School was unresponsive before being flown by medical helicopter to Children's Hospital in Birmingham. The child's name has not been released. His condition remains unknown. Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed has named Jeremy Reed as his permanent chief of staff. Jeremy Reed has been acting chief of staff since his predecessor, Chip Hill, stepped down in September. Jeremy Reed is a graduate of the Air War College with extensive leadership experience as a senior executive in the Air Force. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you think it's safe using all these extension cords?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Actually, too many extension cords can be dangerous. Call Crosby Electric to add new outlets.
Sure is dark in our yard.
Good. We'll sleep better.
Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. Just give him a call.
Whole house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
There are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. What are you smirking at over there?
You ever heard LL Cool J's Rock the Bells?
No.
The intro of your song, not this part, the very intro part, remind me of that one.
The beat of it?
Yeah, Rock the Bells. Which is a good song, by the way, not very good song.
Rock the Bells.
Rock the Bells, man. LL Cool J is hard. Don't eat Oreos, eat Cool J cookies.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Stick around for more LL Cool J references. I mean, have you seen him in NCIS?
No, I kind of.
I'm sorry, he's not convincing.
It's kind of like when Ice-T went into the TV thing.
Yeah,
And
but
these
like
were
a lot of
grown-up
those
people,
shows
hard
aren't
guys.
known for their acting.
Oh, well, no.
Right. But don't you talk about Gibbs. I'll watch NCIS reruns all day.
Didn't you see
Mark Harmon is an American treasure, don't you?
Summer School? I love Mark Harmon. Yeah.
We got a comment that rolled in from Flea Hop.
Yeah?
Is a verb. Conquest second law. So I reminded myself of that. Formulated by Sovietologist Robert Conquest. The second law is the behavior of an organization can best be predicted by assuming it to be controlled by a secret cabal of its enemies.
This is very true.
Yeah, man.
This is very true.
You're like, what the heck are we even doing here?
Yeah. Well, look at the title of these bills that come out to help Americans. In the reality, it's to cripple Americans.
And let's actually go through some more of these laws, because the 3 laws of politics. Everyone is conservative about what he knows best. Yeah, everybody's reactionary about their own thing. Like, you don't mess with my thing.
Right.
Like, I know a lot about this. Any organization not explicitly and constitutionally right-wing will sooner or later become left-wing. Yeah, and then the behavior of any bureaucratic organization can be best understood by assuming it is controlled by a secret cabal of its enemies. Of the second law, Conquest gave the Church of England and Amnesty International as examples that, were not necessarily left-wing, but became left-wing.
Yep.
Huh. Interesting. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Trump's being hit for something he said yesterday. He's not talking about, like, California. He was talking about the whole... And I think the first guy that brought this to my attention was, he's been on the show a few times, Jeffrey Tucker.
Okay.
Wrote about this in one of his essays, like 10 years ago, where the water won't come out of the faucet in the same way. The toilet doesn't flush as well. The dishwasher doesn't work as well. And there's all these governors or regulators on these things. And it's like, it would be nice, especially when you're trying to clean something, whether yourself or a dish.
Low flow shower heads.
Right. And your toilet gets real nasty all of a sudden.
Toilets, yeah.
And so Trump is back on that. And this is the moment they're trying to hit Trump on, but I'm sorry. This is just too good. We don't deserve him, folks. He'll be sworn in soon.
Yes.
Soon, less than 2 weeks away.
Are we celebrating that day?
We might as well.
We should.
What are we allowed to do?
Should have cake for sure.
Cake?
And maybe some fireworks.
Do you like cookie cake?
The fat baby fart?
Get some cookie cake.
Some ice cream.
Maybe you get it with the Trump thing.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like the Trump hair on it.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Really good idea. And frosting, it'll be delicious.
Yeah. But anyway, it's less than 2 weeks away. Let's listen into the president. This was yesterday. Did you see much of this press conference?
A little bit, coming and going.
Oh, man.
These people are crazy. There's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with them. They also want to go back, and they have already started that, to when you buy a faucet, no water comes out because they want to preserve. Even in areas that have so much water, you don't know what to do. It's called rain. It comes down from heaven. And they want to do no water comes out of the shower. It goes drip, drip, drip.
Yep.
So what happens? You're in the shower 10 times as long, No water comes out of the faucet. You want to wash your hands. They want to go back to even stronger than what they have right now. As you know, I ended that policy. You can have all the water you want. Makes no difference. It comes weird, especially in certain areas. We have so much water, we don't know what to do with it.
You think Trump uses what are those things? Those like long things and loofah? Think he uses a loofah?
No, he's too old for that.
He's probably ashy.
He just kind of stands.
He's probably got a lot of.
But what's funny is how soft, again, as Americans we come. Those things are put in there to slow us down.
Right.
Most blue collar guys just drill a hole in it and keep going like it wasn't nothing.
Right. I like the water flowing.
Yeah.
And I like to have the water heater set, if that's what you're using, like as hot as possible, so I can regulate that.
Yes.
Like, I don't jump in there when it's at the hottest, but it's a good way to get hot water quick. And then you just,
it also warms up the
then
bathroom
you just
a little
tune
bit
it back a little bit. Yes, right.
But that's your free will. You are charged for that. So you should be able to do what you want.
Right.
You bought the water heater. You bought the fuel. It's your water.
Well, now here's the moment that everybody was talking about yesterday. It looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman with a strong back. How many pull-ups do you think MTG could do? She was a CrossFitter for a while.
I would double digits for sure, if not higher double digits, to the point of I would say, I'm embarrassed. Please get down.
I like a congresswoman that's strong.
Yeah.
Why'd you vote for her? Did you see the amount of pull-ups?
She's strong.
Strong, or as Jasmine Crockett put it, bad built butch body.
Right. How do you go against that?
Jasmine Crockett's a fat crap crazy Democrat, but that's funny.
She'll call him like she sees him, buddy.
Oh, girl, baby.
Yeah, okay, AOC. I was just referencing it.
Don't even play.
But this is MTG just introduced legislation to try to make this happen in the House, what Trump said yesterday.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
I like how he said it's appropriate. Like, and a lot of people don't know this, but it's appropriate.
It's ours.
Right.
It's ours.
And it covers a lot of area.
Sure does. And look,
You like this idea, Gulf of America?
I love that. And the Greenland thing. I'm getting on board there. Because while people are freaking out over stupid things like that, we're getting the real work done while they're not paying attention. Morons.
So I think that's like the easiest thing of all the stuff he said in this transition. I think just changing the name to Gulf of America, literally, I think they could just pass legislation.
Same with changing the mountain in Alaska, changing it back.
Yeah, that could be done back to Mount McKinley. Yeah. Now the Greenland thing. Did you see the folks, Don Jr. going with the whole
I see them
team?
landing with the Donald.
And they had a
Trump
pretty good reception.
I thought so.
Welcoming party.
I didn't see any real protesters. Everybody was like, "Hey, come on."
And one person on X absurdly tweeted or posted or whatever it is, put out there that the king has sent his firstborn son to see how they're going to annex feudal lands. We haven't seen this in centuries, folks.
I like that one.
There's an element to that, but it's a very small population. It's only like in the hundreds of thousands, or excuse me, tens of thousands. It's like 46,000 people or something like that live there.
Yeah.
But right now, Europe and Denmark, but in Trump today is now, but very big tariffs on Denmark.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with tariffs.
Sure can.
Mm-hmm.
When you're the biggest economical factor out there, you can do a lot.
But the European Union is very upset. They, like Macron in particular, is like, don't you dare threaten the borders of Europe. It's like, you're a pussycat.
Yep.
We pay for all the stuff.
That's the point that I don't get. When they do all this raising of Cain, which is fake, I can't wait because it'll be Donald Trump that says, okay, we'll just take your check away. We'll take your allowance.
Yeah, you go defend yourself agast the Russians.
We'll take your allowance away. You go have a good time. No, Daddy.
No, Daddy, don't do it, Daddy.
Right.
Do you want me to use the switch, Emmanuel?
That's. I mean, that's the thing that kills me. We're paying for all this.
Wait, do you think Trump calls world leaders on his off? You know, they have the official calls where the whole staff on either side is there. Yeah, but do you think he does like off the record calls with foreign leaders in the same way he does his sons? So he'll call up like Emmanuel Macron like really early in the morning, like 4 a.m.
Oh yeah,
Emmanuel, honey, are you awake, honey? I'm awake.
I'm sure he does. He's the king of trolling.
Yeah, just to mess with people.
Yeah, if nothing else, call him, let it ring twice, and hang up.
And also, the Europeans are not just mad at Donald Trump; they're very, very angry with Elon Musk. How dare he interfere in our elections? You mean like give his opinion?
Yeah. Did he send workers over there like you did to us?
No, they're like, we're going to use every legal mechanism we have as the European Union to stop this guy from saying things and allowing our population to say things. This is Europe. We don't have freedom.
If he posts a meme, he could go to jail.
He should post more memes. Should definitely post more memes. Yeah, the Europeans just, again, come across as pussycats, like little weenies now.
With especially the British with the whole thing, and I feel sad, but they are threatening to lock Americans up for posting memes.
Yeah.
When meanwhile, you have a whole rape case going on that you guys are not trying to pay attention to. But you're worried about memes. You've got some real problems over there, and memes ain't it.
Now, did you see Jordan Peterson's take on this? He did a long conversation with Piers Morgan. And this one clip, it's like Jordan Peterson nails it, man. About the UK, because as much as like we're Americans, we don't have to listen to silly people with silly fake kings. And
so true. We learned that a long time ago.
We opened up a can of whoop-ass at Yorktown.
Yeah, we never forget that.
And by we, of course, Eddie and I were right there in the fray.
I'd go today if they needed me. Just call me back.
But here's Jordan Peterson, I think, speaking for a lot of people that want to see, our cousins, if we can call them that, at least people that speak the same language for the most part. Like Western civilization, if you could put it in that way.
They're just Westerners.
I think he speaks for a lot of folks here in this clip. This is quite something. This is Peterson talking about the UK in particular.
Has put Canada in the doldrums that it's in, and is also responsible for the state of your country, which is dreadful. And it's I don't know if you guys in the UK understand how sad it is for us in Canada and in the United States to watch what you're doing to yourself. I mean, the UK is a great country. When I go there, I go to Oxford, I go to Cambridge, to these remarkable places in London, see your unbelievable deep history, understand how much the world owes the UK in terms of, say, the establishment of common law and decent government everywhere, including places like India. We owe the UK such an immense debt. And to watch you guys like spiral for this idiot, weak political correctness that's gone so far that you can allow your working class women to be raped and say nothing about it and gaslight people who are telling the truth. It's so sickening. It's so demoralizing. It's almost unspeakable. We all pray, hope and pray here in Canada and the US that you get your act together and grow some spine again and put your damn country back together and stand up to these bloody psychopathic bullies and the woke green mob, because it would be a dreadful shame to lose you.
Yes, it would. As much as, like, I'm all for, hey, Europe, you want to try us? I would also like to see these places that are always troublesome. It would be great to see France made great again, and Germany.
And England.
And England. And so many other great countries there on the European continent.
But just like us, we cannot be taken out from the outside. They have to come from the inside. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening in England. They are, and their citizens are waking up, but this is not the Britain that they knew.
Right.
And a lot of them, I hope it's not, but a lot of them worry it's too late.
It might be. You know, J.D. Vance got in a lot of hot water several months back when he spoke at the National Nationalist Conservative Convention, whatever, bunch of nerds. And Vance said, you know, back when I was at the think tank stuff and talking about, you know, this whole idea of who's going to be the first Islamist nation to have nukes. And he's like, well, maybe Pakistan already applies, and but maybe it'll be Iran, God forbid, yada, yada, yada. You don't want to see that arms race in the Middle East, but actually it looks like the first Islamist country to have nukes might be the UK.
Yep.
We'll see if it's too late or
well,
not.
look at how they got to where they're at. It was the same path we were on up until about a couple months ago.
Yeah. Well, and we at least have these pesky things like the Bill of Rights and the First Amendment and the Second Amendment.
There you go.
Helps keep a lid on certain tendencies that have been happening all around the West. But, speaking of our neighbors to the north, the Canadians,
the top
they're
hat.
very upset with us.
He'll be all right. Even Pierre said a few things, but he'll be all right.
Yeah, they're still they're just
posturing.
Like, how dare you say you're going to buy it? We're never going to be.
We're not for sale.
We're not for sale. We're never going to be the 51st state.
But how much you talking?
We're never, we're never gonna,
if you had to put a number,
ever gonna do that. Like we're not going down that road. Well, maybe we should, because excuse me, pardon me, folks, as we do our international tour here.
Yeah,
this is from the Federalist. Now we've all known that Canada has loosened up and allowed for more euthanasia, not of pets,
right,
of people.
Mm-hmm.
Get a load of this headline, Eddie. Canadian doctors suggest harvesting organs from euthanasia patients before they're dead. I'm just letting that simmer for a second. Before they're dead. So before we off you.
You're talking to a guy who says that when they're fixing to execute somebody, you need to harvest some organs. Some good needs to come out of that dude or woman's life. There are millions of people waiting. I know it sounds bizarre and it sounds just terrible, but go meet somebody waiting for an organ.
It doesn't, but you know how like good and evil, it's not like,
I know.
It's not this moral principle you can always apply. Like,
I know.
And I know that I'm getting in trouble for even saying that. It's more like in moments, it's not some principle you appeal to, it's a feeling. That feels evil.
It does, I agree.
Like you don't want to be alive anymore. Okay, we'll let you kill yourself, and before you kill yourself, and we help you do that, we want to harvest your organs. It doesn't seem like we're on the stairway to heaven.
No, it sounds awful all the way around. I mean, it really does. And I don't agree with necessarily that, because then you're encouraging people.
And I know this is supposed to be serious, but as soon as I said Stairway to Heaven, I thought of Wayne's World and, ooh, Stairway denied. But Canadian doctors have suggested killing euthanasia victims by taking their organs, according to multiple reports, whistleblowers, and public talks. Medical freedom advocates are documenting emerging ties between medical assistance in dying, MAID, and organ harvesting.
No. See, these are things that need to be shut down before they even get started. There was one of those stupid stories on A&E, this perfectly bodied woman, arms, legs, everything. She went on this campaign for like 10 years to get her legs amputated for no other reason than she felt like she shouldn't have legs. And they did it.
Where?
The surgery was probably, I'm trying to be funny, but India, Pakistan type deal. But she was straight up from London.
She's from London. She has to go way across the world.
Yeah, she just found,
and the goal is like up to her hip or to her knee?
I think calf.
Just take her feet off.
Basically.
Why? Because she felt like it?
That was her feeling. So that was, to me, that's right up there with the people that think that they can poop in a litter box and consider themselves cats. You have a mental disease.
Well, here's a quote. The best use of my organs, if I'm going to receive a medically assisted death, might be not to first kill me and then retrieve my organs, but to have my mode of death, as we medically consider death now, to be to retrieve my organs. So Rob Sebald, an ethicist of the London Health Sciences Centre. It's not center.
Yeah.
It's the RE sort of center.
Centre?
Centre. No, Daddy, don't do it. I'm going to hurt you. Emmanuel, are you awake, honey?
Fix that.
Are you awake, honey? Olaf, are you awake? Only we are always awake here in Germany, Mr. President.
Always waiting.
I sleep with my eyes open, Mr. President. Good, honey. Good.
Good idea.
Sebald spoke on threats to the concept of brain death ethical reflections at the Critical Care Canada Forum in November 2018. The event was sponsored by Canadian Blood Services, a tissue and organ donation group, the Trillium Gift of Life Network, which is, quote, responsible for delivering and coordinating organ and tissue donation and transplantation across the province of Ontario, if that's the way it's said, and the Canadian Donations and Transplantations Research Program, which hopes to increase the availability of transplants. Other Canadian doctors have publicly embraced death by donation, and a study came out earlier this year exploring euthanasia programs such as MAID as a means of organ harvesting. Canada legalized euthanasia in 2016, and since then, the number of Canadians using this program to kill themselves has significantly increased.
All they're doing is saying, okay, they're trying to get more people to, I guess you'd say, commit suicide. No other way to put it. So for those that, want to do it, we can help them do it. You're encouraging that. I'm not a fan of that at all.
During this guy's speech, Sebald, he suggested blurring the lines on the quote-unquote dead donor rule, a long-standing medical ethics guideline requiring that donors die of another natural cause before doctors harvest their organs. Again, I said evil is a feeling. No, you need to get rid of the rule that says you can't harvest the organs until the person's dead.
What if you're an organ donor?
I'm not talking about like a kidney. We're so invested in this dead donor rule, Sebald said. That rule has become so ingrained in the medical community that we hold it out as a foundational principle, and I think just as likely there are people who question that value now. And I know there's perhaps not an appetite to go there, but raising the question, is the dead donor rule even relevant? He suggested death may not occur at one particular moment in time, and said the best use of organs from patients who are going to receive a medically assisted death could be to harvest them while the victim is alive. If to meet your definition of the dead donor rule, you have to consider me dead once you first put me under and you have no intention of bringing me back, well then fine. I can accept that if those are my values. What's this guy's first name? Satan?
Yeah.
Satan Sebald?
Those are his values. That's fine, but don't push your values on me or anybody else.
That's crazy. I don't know if I want them as the 51st state.
Well, Joey, sometimes we have to go to places like that just to kind of help them out, find the right way.
Yeah, but you know, all this talk of death and organ harvesting makes me hungry.
I knew you were going there.
No, it does. It's also like, what, 1:30, so I'm
starving.
I'm just hungry in general.
I had a donut today.
You know where I wish I could teleport during the break we're about to take? Like, just teleport, get something, teleport back?
Yeah.
Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
Oh, I'd go there right now in a minute.
Have you dipped your ribs into the camp stew
to
yet?
make my way there either today or tomorrow.
But dip ribs into camp stew.
Yeah, I figure it's like a nacho chip. You know, the ribs already have a natural little bend to it.
Sure.
And you get a little bit of meat in there as well.
Right.
And you get some meat of the stew. So, yeah.
We're in that rib fat with that great medley of flavor going on with the camp stew.
And I can do it while I'm driving.
Sounds delicious.
You know it is. You know you're going to want to do it.
And of course, they don't just have ribs there. They have, they take barbecue seriously.
Oh, yes, they do.
5 brick pits running hand-pulled meat, so you could get like a really tasty pulled pork sandwich. And I love their spicy barbecue sauce.
Oh, me too.
Very, very good stuff. So anything in terms of barbecue, they're going to be helping you out there at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. Great Alabama-style barbecue. But, of course, they also do an amazing breakfast. Get by there Tuesday through Sunday, early in the morning, for some amazing fixings when it comes to breakfast. Like, I like doing the custom-made biscuit and then get a little side of that big old cheese grits alongside it. Or you could get a breakfast bowl or the Fat Boy breakfast. And they've got all the different breakfast sides you love, meats, and they'll prepare eggs how you like. It really is a great destination for breakfast. So y'all check out Smokehouse Pit Barbecue today. You can always look at them on the Book of Faces. But I encourage you to stop by. Same location they've always been on Main Street in Millbrook. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. an equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Hi, everybody. Our extended string of cold days and frigid nights will continue with Arctic air still in place. Sunshine, not as breezy today with a high temperature in the middle 40s. The coldest night of the week so far will be tonight. The overnight low temperature down to about 22, clear skies. Tomorrow, more sun, chilly, high 47. Then late Thursday night, early Friday, there could be a mix of some rain and maybe some snow and some freezing rain perhaps. Then that'll turn to all rain on Friday. We don't anticipate any travel problems in our part of the state, perhaps way up there in North Alabama, but we'll watch it closely. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader here in the studio for a few more moments, but you got to skedaddle here soon.
Yeah, I got to head back to a photo shoot.
A photo shoot?
Yes.
What are you, a model now?
Actually, I've been a hand model for many years. Joey.
Oh, many years you've been a hand model. Let me see those hands real
These
quick.
gnarled up mitts. Are you kidding me? They have more scars and crap all over them. Fingernails that get bitten.
Hey, maybe there's some people into that. It's like, it's a realistic hand model. Like, that's the hands of a man.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Right.
Actually, it's funny you say that. Watching the old Tiki Talk. Beautiful English. Her family's got a ton of money. She's not a princess, but she's got that ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking to a guy, and she said, look, I want you to find me a real man. I don't want somebody that's pretty. She said, look at my boyfriends, and they showed 3 of her past boyfriends. Ugly. But she said, I want a man. And I was like, let me get Joey Clark's number. I'm going to send this girl Joey Clark's number because she's looking for a man. So if you get a call from England,
look at me,
Joey, if you get a call from England,
I have to introduce myself as Lothar of the Hill People.
No, I wouldn't.
In order to get this broad to pay attention. Anyway, let's go to Pierre. It is on line 1.
That's what I heard. Pierre.
Oh, Pierre.
Hey, fellas.
Hey.
If the Canadian federal government would allow each of the provinces to have a referendum on whether to secede from Canada and apply for statehood to the United States, I bet you we'd get all the provinces except Quebec.
I think you're onto something. Much of rural Canada it's amazing how much it's such a different land, but the cultures, especially say here in Alabama, there's a lot of weird overlap where I think we get along just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we would. Keep up the good work, fellas.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you, Pierre.
See, for a second, I thought we had pissed off a Frenchman with my Emmanuel Macron.
So what?
Yeah, no, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, this is about to be your Waterloo, Emmanuel.
You want to do a Frenchman a favor? Go ahead and give him a white handkerchief. It'll keep him from having to buy another one. Because all they do is we give.
Well, Emmanuel, I know all about Waterloo. Not because I read. It's because I learn all my history from ABBA.
I was hoping that's where you were going.
All of it from ABBA. You know the winner takes it all, right?
Don't act like you wouldn't be rocking some ABBA. In fact, didn't you recently?
And like a super trooper,
What was the movie you watched? The Secret Pants? What was the ABBA
Secret
movie?
Pants?
The Traveling Secret
No, that was,
Pants or
this was
something?
like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Where I watched Mamma Mia.
That is Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mamma Mia.
I wasn't my idea. I was just there.
And he couldn't leave.
Yeah.
Couldn't change the channel.
And after Mamma Mia, who wants to watch Brokeback Mountain? It's a good cowboy movie.
It is really good cowboy
Good
movie.
Western. Very heartfelt. Very touching.
If you're into that.
272-9228. So we got a little going back and forth off air about Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Of course, the big announcement. No, and I think what's fascinating about his video he did yesterday, and he didn't say it forcefully, but in the whole 5 minutes, he's like, we're wrong. We got to make this change and that change. I've honestly already seen a difference on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about like our numbers. I mean, all these like political people I had been following, my biggest following for me, has been on Facebook. I'm seeing them again. So I think the change is happening. But my point is, you get through, we were wrong about this and made these changes, yada, yada, yada. He kind of lets out that, like, he was under the gun from government. And I'd imagine from intelligence and from the FBI and like all these groups saying, you better play ball with us or we will ruin you. We will destroy your business and your livelihood.
Okay.
And so he played ball. And I think Jack Dorsey was the same way with Twitter 1.0. I think it was taken from him. The child he grew. It was taken from him. Now, when you look at Zuckerberg, number one, I think the guy's put on like 30 pounds of muscle. He does look like he wants to fight.
He's good.
Yeah.
What else is he doing?
Right. But
he's such a suck up
to
the new administration.
Right.
That he has Rand Paul hair now.
I don't know if that.
Oh, yeah. That's it. That's his way of saying, I want in, guys. I want in.
I don't know if that helps.
But my biggest thing is, if he does change, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do? Confess to your sins. Before I can forgive you, I got to know what you did. Who'd you do it to? How bad did they get screwed? Then I'll decide if I'll forgive you or not.
Are you channeling the Spanish Inquisition right now?
No, but if you're, I know some of the things that he's done.
Like what?
Just playing with, shadow banning people, blocking people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what I know. Little old 55-year-old me.
Yeah. I know it in my own experience.
I know.
And working with 1819.
Right. But I know there's not enough of us to have convinced him to change. I want to know what he did to others. Before I can forgive you, I got to know what you did.
See, but this is where I'm coming from. Like, I don't know Mark Zuckerberg. I don't really want to know Mark Zuckerberg. I just know of him.
Okay.
And so it's not up to me or anybody else really to forgive him or trust him. Don't trust him. I don't trust him.
I don't.
I don't want him to say sorry and I go, well, you're forgiven.
That's just what happened.
I don't want to forgive and forget. I want you to change your policies.
But that just
change the policies.
Okay, and let's say something happened, and we get another Democrat in here 4 years. You know he's going to do the same thing.
Well, that's why we got to have Trump 2028.
Who was it that, wasn't it a
Crap.
Kennedy that said, hey, call Amazon and order a spine?
Now, but here's actually, I think, the moment where Zuckerberg started changing.
Oh.
Where a lot of people started changing. Remember, Elon didn't endorse Trump until after a certain event.
Oh, sure.
Let's listen in. This is, I think, the moment where Zuckerberg's
Rand Paul here.
I mean, on a personal note, it's, seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life. But look, I mean, it's, and I think, look, it's at some level as an American, it's like hard to not get kind of emotional about that spirit and that fight. And I think that's why a lot of people like the guy.
So now it's cool to be an American again. He wants back in.
Yeah. No, I think something very real and organic did happen, Eddie. That day where Trump is shot in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Not a doubt in my mind. But it should not have taken that event to remind people like him that he's an American.
It's fair.
Should not have. He should have seen that coming. You and I saw that coming.
Here's where I'm coming from. There's a lot of people that want like vengeance. You know what I mean?
Why are you looking at me?
No, I'm not talking about you in particular, but it's like, well, they're dead to me. And you see this often on X now.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like one person named like Cat Poop or something says a thing and the other person disagrees. Like, well, you're dead to me now.
There's a lot of that.
That we disagree on the H-1B visa thing. You're dead. I always knew you were. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't think you actually want solutions and great things for the country. I think you want to piss and moan and crap on other people to make yourself feel powerful and have status.
Or they feel like that by letting that other person have it, it's going to change their mind.
No, I think it's the thing I said.
It doesn't.
I think it's the thing I said.
Some people like to have that. I got to get it out because you are wrong and I'm saving you.
Right, but I'm saying you can say people are wrong. You could say you don't get back in our good graces. That's fine, just because you change.
Yeah.
But look ahead. I think it's Trump's actually understands it. My revenge will be my success. Our success. America's success.
Looking ahead's fine, but if you were somebody that stabbed me in the back earlier, I can't really look ahead as much as I got to watch what the heck you're doing. Johnny come latelys don't fly well with me, brother.
I'm just saying that the score is never fully settled.
He showed you who he was.
And often the
He hasn't
urge to
changed.
fully settle the score is a way the crabs in the bucket pull everybody down.
I'm a lifter.
Just look at parts of this city.
So I'm a lifter.
By the way, what happened yesterday on Zelda Road, I have not forgotten it. It seems it was clearly some beef.
Yeah, it said they had 2 shooters in custody.
Yeah, they caught him pretty quick.
Both of
Good
them
job, MPD.
18 years old.
Yeah.
18 years
That's what we're doing. We're doing over under, and I said 18.
Yeah.
And I think, talking to other folks here at work here and looking on Facebook, I think it was just one of these, like somebody did a diss track. And
Yeah. Ridiculous.
And, often people like, oh, crabs in the bucket is where, you can never be special. It's like, well, it's also like you're so inculcated in your little bubble that you're willing to die over what?
Yeah.
And kill over what? It's got to stop.
Staying in the bucket with the rest of the crowd.
Well, and some of it is settling scores.
Yeah.
It's vengeance. It's the frickin' mark of Cain.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not saying that you got to love Zuckerberg or trust him. I don't.
I use his products. We're good with that.
I'm just saying that I've already seen the change on Meta, and it's like, just keep the changes going. It is amazing when you have
spots, Joey.
When it wasn't just Trump, I think it was also Elon. When somebody shows that strength and shows here's how you fight back against these folks that really want to screw you, won't take yes for an answer. The mafia, the government.
But I never had those doubts about Elon like I had with Zuckerberg. I never had those issues, and mainly because I didn't have.
Well, there's no doubt. I don't care how good he is at jiu-jitsu and how much muscle he puts on. He's still a dweeb.
Oh yeah, nerd. But I don't.
It's fine.
I never thought of those two as very similar, even though they do similar things. They both had that social media deal, but I never looked at Elon Musk as a threat.
And I also my whole theory of it, was stolen their child, the business that it's held hostage. I've always really thought that of Jack Dorsey and Twitter 1.0. I think Dorsey was screwed.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Over the thing he created. Now, Zuckerberg's is a little different. It's kind of like the same way the New York Times is set up, where he's essentially monarch for life. It doesn't matter what happens. Like, you couldn't do a buyout the way Elon bought out Twitter. They can't do that with Facebook.
I don't think there's a number out there.
So we'll see. It's just, who knows? Like, everybody's got an opinion about this, as do I, as do you. We all do. We should. But until you're actually in that back room, you have billions of dollars at stake, and these men, usually in nice suits with light blue ties, come and talk to you. I don't know how you would actually react. Maybe you stand up. Maybe you're like, well, just kill me and harvest my organs.
I would like to think, though.
Or it could be you're like, well, I don't want to destroy this thing, especially all these lives I'm responsible for, so I'm going to play ball.
But if Zuckerberg or someone of that nature would have come out and said, hey, these guys just told me this. If I don't play ball, if you'd have got on Facebook, this Mark Zuckerberg, help, and put that out there, who would have
Well, if he had actually fought. No, and
that's what bothers me.
I think Elon showed the way to fight.
Yeah.
And it's not just the government. It's also that whole advertising cartel that uses advertising dollars not to really sell their product, but to control things. Yeah. Elon fought that and won.
Yep.
So I think he is, all due credit to Elon, all due credit to Trump. And if these Johnny-come-latelys, okay, they got here late. But as long as you're on this, we're rowing in the same direction. We're all in the same boat. Because we all are Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Some a little more American than others.
I am a real American. The rights of every man. Anyway, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon, who I got to see yesterday. You didn't.
No, I did
I know
not.
you talked to
I
her
spoke
yesterday.
with her many times yesterday. But I did get to see, we were in one of the houses, and I saw that up. She looked great.
There's
did look 3
great.
people on TV, but there's only one of them I really wanted to look at. No offense, guys.
It's fair.
And she's very informative. And that was what her and I were talking. I missed it yesterday because there's several things that her and I wanted to talk about in the housing business on air. But she's one of the best in the business, no doubt, whether you're refinancing or looking to buy a home or a new home.
Amazing turnaround times on that refi. Like 2 weeks?
2 weeks, man.
It's pretty incredible. Of course, they can walk you through the home buying process. All begins with pre-approval. And it's not just, hey, you want to get rid of debt. If you're refinancing, it could be all sorts of reasons, like reinvest in your property, your home, your family. Could be the kids are going off to college or just graduated college. You want to start off in a new city. Maybe you want to go on the big family vacation. It's the money you built
That's
up in
right,
your
it's your
home.
money.
And if you're a veteran, you need to call up Alabama Home Mortgage today if you're looking to make moves with your home. There might be benefits that you're just not aware of, that benefits you earned through your service. So call up Kim and Madeline today at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the River Region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025 we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
They've been performing for over 60 years, and on Saturday, February 22nd, they'll be performing for you. It's Exile live at the Impact. From their origins in pop to their success in country, don't miss Exile live on stage for one night only. It's Exile live at the Impact on Saturday night, February 22nd at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at the Impact box office and Ticketmaster.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. So what does this remind you of? What smart-ass comment do you have over there?
Reminds me of something I need to listen to when I'm on the treadmill if I ever get on a treadmill.
It is a good driving song. I tested it out this morning.
Yeah.
Especially the breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
Bring the bass back.
No, it's good. Everything you do is good. It's just, I got ADD, so things remind me of things. Or ADHD, whatever it is.
Really? Ritalin?
Tried it when I was a kid. My parents put me on it. Didn't last very long. You know, it doesn't always work like it's supposed to.
Well, and now, Mom, they're harvesting my organs for science. I'm going to shake off this mortal coil and serve my fellow man by getting out of here.
Yeah.
Such a bad idea. It's such a bad idea. Oh, my God. Let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris.
That sounds like sounds like Logan's Run or something like that, right?
Yep.
What is it? Don't eat the, what was it? Charlton Heston? Don't eat the people, it's made with people.
Oh, yeah. Soylent Green.
Soylent Green.
It's made of people. Yeah.
Well.
And then, of course, somebody gets smart and has come out with a brand called Soylent. And it's just like, really? Really? We grew it in a lab, but we did not harvest it. We harvested it, but we harvested it in a new scientific way.
Yeah, that man-made flesh.
Yeah.
Yummy. Hey, have you heard anything about this guy this subhuman that killed virtually assassinated somebody on Zelda Road, if he had been let out or not. There's rumors circulating that this guy's been, well, he was in jail for maybe attempted murder or murder, and he somehow got back out.
Well, if that, I don't know. If he was a juvenile when that happened, that might be part of it. I've not seen any more information on the guy.
Mm-hmm. We might not have a cop problem in the city of Montgomery. We might have a judge problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, and that from conversations I was having with folks when I got off air yesterday, I think everybody's in agreement that stop letting these kids, and you can call them that, but stop letting those folks out when they do something like this. You should have no bond.
Yeah. Well, how are they not being prosecuted as an adult with attempted murder or something like that?
Right.
And there's now a third person who's been
Yeah,
charged.
been arrested.
Yeah. They need to clean up Zelda Road and Ann Street, guys. I mean, it looks like a third world country.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't see, it's such a bad look for the city, too. I mean, yeah, that's the middle of the city, and you're pulling off. Oh, I'm going to go to, well, Wendy's is gone. I'm going to go to McDonald's or Zaxby's, and oh, my God. And if there's always been weird things going on in that apartment up there, I mean, the hotel there.
Yeah.
It's just shady, man.
Well, the thing is, both the 18-year-olds, Trawick Smith Jr. and Rodriguez Humphrey, they're both being held without bond.
Yeah.
There's a third that's now been charged, 24-year-old Ladarius Knight, charged with certain persons forbidden to possess a firearm. Huh.
So
he's now being held, right, so he's being held 15 grand bond.
15 grand.
Which means I can get out for $1,500.
Hey, can you imagine just your life as, well, in this guy's case, he's able to get back out, but can you imagine being 18 years old and knowing that you could be in prison for the rest of your life?
No.
I mean, what a waste of humanity.
I agree, except somebody that's been arrested one time, spent a few hours in jail, everybody knew each other in there. Everybody was incredibly comfortable.
Right.
Incredibly comfortable. Several of them to the point of, I'm supposed to pay restitution, but if I come in here, the restitution gets paid at some ridiculous rate, and I just got to sit in here and hang out. What the hell are we doing?
Right.
Well,
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they all know each other. If it's like that sad, sadistic joke. Is it really hell if I know everybody that's there? Are you really sending me away from society when my society is there?
Well, I mean, just imagine all the tips and ways to get money when you get out. I mean, they're talking to each other. They know what's going on. And I'm not so sure some of these kids, these folks aren't getting out because they might be, have information for the police. And they can't let them sit in jail and rot when they need them out on the street, giving them information. Then they end up doing something bad.
Yeah, you hear about informants getting busted all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's that we got a judge problem. That's what. It's obvious. I thought Niall Blanchard, right? We passed that bill, and they're supposed to be held without bond.
Yeah.
What about that?
Right. Anyway, did you see the robot vacuum that has an arm to remove things in its way at the Consumer Electronics thing? Just trying to lighten up the mood. They've got a mirror that it looks like it can take all your data readings, like body readings.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't need that in my life.
Awesome.
There's a scale I already walked by and don't step on. Why do I need a mirror?
Can you imagine if your scale started taking a photo of you?
No. No.
Hey,
that is a terrible angle.
Hey, Joey, have y'all ever had y'all have Amazon?
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. Have you ever noticed that sometimes random things get in your basket, your cart?
I haven't, but
that
I'll ask my wife because I always think that those random things are from her.
No, I pretty much I practice good cart hygiene.
Well, good for you.
But sometimes there's rumors out there that says that your phone's listening to you, and as you talk, it triggers it, and the AI will throw stuff in your car.
Well, now there are a lot of stories about toddlers talking to Alexa and getting shipments of those toys.
That
delivered.
can happen. Yeah, if you have Alexa hooked up and like you can buy things through voice,
Right.
and it's clear as day. Like Eddie and I will talk about something off air, and then we'll see an
pop
ad
right up.
for it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, and if I get an ad for organ harvesting, I'm going to be very upset. Apple.
Is it a pay ad?
How much can you get for a kidney?
It depends on where you sell it. I hear overseas you get a couple $25,000.
Anyway, I appreciate the call, Chris. And Eddie, you got to get out of here, right?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Oh, sure. Y'all have a good one.
See you, buddy.
Look at the time. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Multiple massive wildfires tearing across the Los Angeles area with devastating force. The flames drove residents to make desperate escapes from burning homes through ferocious winds and towering clouds of smoke. Those winds more than 90 miles per hour in some areas. At least 2 people have died. Numerous injuries have been reported. Thousands of firefighters battling those blazes. President-elect Trump asking the Supreme Court to intervene in his New York criminal case. The appeal comes after 2 New York courts refused to postpone Friday's sentencing of the president-elect. His attorneys asked for an immediate stay to prevent what they describe as grave injustice and harm to the institution of the presidency. The Dow up 95 points, the NASDAQ Composite adding 18. This is SRN News.
Making America great again starts with making America healthy again. Charlie Kirk here. I lost 40 pounds with the PhD weight loss and nutrition program. And 2 years later, I haven't gained a pound back. I started the PhD weight loss program because I need to be healthy to keep up with my crazy schedule. Most people start a weight loss program to get healthier. So why is Big Pharma spending millions to convince you to use their weight loss injections that do just the opposite? They have harmful side effects and lifelong dependency. Take a natural approach that isn't connected to a Big Pharma bottom line. PhD changes the way you think about food. They custom design a plan that is simple and works with your schedule. You'll learn to quiet cravings and finally release the unhealthy belly fat. You won't be hungry and you'll never take medication. Call 864-644-1900 to schedule your one-on-one consultation or visit myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com, 864-644-1900.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. Our extended string of cold days and frigid nights will continue with Arctic air still in place. Sunshine not as breezy today with a high temperature in the middle 40s. The coldest night of the week so far will be tonight. The overnight low temperature down to about 22, clear skies. Tomorrow, more sun, chilly, high 47. Then late Thursday night, early Friday, there could be a mix of some rain and maybe some snow and some freezing rain perhaps. Then that'll turn to all rain on Friday. We don't anticipate any travel problems in our part of the state, perhaps way up there in North Alabama, but we'll watch you closely. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASE loan payment from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. YourASECreditUnion.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
1819 News.
A state lawmaker up for re-election in 2026 says he will be running for another term. Steve Klaus says he's received encouragement to stay in state politics from his constituents and fellow lawmakers. Klaus told 1819 News that a few years ago he was planning to not run again, but has changed that plan in order to continue being effective for the constituents of Dale and Houston County in the Wiregrass region. Klaus says that the state finances and budget will be the biggest priority in the 2025 legislative session. Klaus believes that ever since COVID and federal stimulus money was sent to all the states, Alabama has not really focused on correcting its financial matters. The state legislative session begins officially on February 4th. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Schaefer with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
The library board at Spanish Fort met this past Monday night and decided to revisit policies surrounding a graphic novel that has sexually explicit material targeting teens. This book has already been removed from the shelves in other public libraries in South Alabama after formal complaints were filed against the book. A formal complaint has not been filed in Spanish Fort. However, it was removed from the shelf last month for review. The chairman of the board, Robert Curtis Smith Jr., said he was shocked when he read the book and would not even dare to put those illustrations on a screen for the general public. Smith Jr. is encouraging that the book be relocated to the adult section. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
For more information, send an email to digital@bluewaterbroadcasting.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour of the program here on a fine Wednesday. Broadcasting live out of Montgomery, Alabama. As the big voice said, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Wonder who left the TV on Let's Make a Deal, but it's good to see Wayne Brady is doing well. Let's go to Soldier Boy. Hey, Soldier Boy.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. A couple points. You said that was the shooter or the person who got shot was 18.
The two shooters that are being charged with murder are 18.
Oh my God! Guess their birthday came a couple days early on that one. Made a big difference.
And the person killed was 24, and then a third person was charged with certain persons forbidden to possess a firearm, who's also 24.
Oh God! Their lives are all ruined.
Yeah.
Second thing is it was amazing that I was hearing that capital murder, they give them a $15,000 bond. That means you only got to put up 10% cash. So for $1,500, you can get your butt back out on the street and take another life.
Well, the one for the 15 grand is the possession of a firearm when he shouldn't.
Maybe he shouldn't have any bail at all. Third thing is, I noticed I was listening to your news, that fire that's going on in California, they said they had wind gusts up to 90 miles per hour.
Up to 100.
Unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like hurricane category 4 or 5 strength.
Yes. So you
can't
add
fight a
like
fire
the mismanagement, and then you add in what is like an act of God. That's
exactly
crazy.
what I was going to say, because they had a documentary on that, and they were showing how California never spends any money for fire breaks or anything, or disposes, burns down, so they can have a fire break someplace. They just wait for it to happen every year, and it happens. And they don't do anything. They said the documentary said they don't even spend anything to fix the problem and resolve it.
Yeah, and it's like you can get by for a while. You can go years without it being too bad, but once you get that big confluence of events, like those winds you were just mentioning, I don't know if it's stopped yet. I don't know when it's going to stop.
Joey, I don't think you can stand in our shoes at 100 miles per hour wind.
No.
We'd be blown away.
No.
So you can just imagine what a flame is doing, getting blowing miles away, and a cinder could just light up.
Oh, it looks like hell on earth, man, with the ash being blown around and the fire jumping around, fireballs falling. It's looks like the end times, some of these videos.
And how do you fight that?
Get away from it.
I mean, if you're the fireman out there, you get out there and trying to build, fire breaks and stuff like that. You can't stand up at 100 mile an hour wind.
Right.
And you can't fly planes that drop, chemical dry stuff on top of it because of the weather the way it is. It's just, my goodness. That's the governor again, not being prepared again. Way to go.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you got to prepare for the 10,000 year event, whatever storm, whatever that might be a potential threat.
Year.
Oh,
It's
right,
every
right.
year in
But I
California.
think that's what's happened is like they got used to it because they were able to somewhat contain it. And then this big one comes and it's like, well, good luck.
Oh, yeah. So they've become conditioned to a major fire every year.
And then they have the out of, well, this is clearly climate change. So we need, good control of carbon being put into the atmosphere or something.
Damn that hippie with a mirror trying to start a barbecue out there in the woods. Damn.
No, and that is an interesting question. What are the origins of these fires? Was it fully natural or did somebody set something off? Because that has happened many times before.
Well, sometimes people will do anything to push their agenda. So who's to say it wasn't?
Yeah, maybe it's a crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and these people are crazy in the first place. All right, Joey, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Soldier Boy. Let's go to James. Hey, James, what's up, man?
Joey, how you making it?
Good.
Tell me something. Did you take botany in high school?
Take what in high school?
Botany.
No.
Okay, most of us haven't. Years ago, while I was teaching botany during the school year, the summer of 2001, I decided to drive out to Seaside, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I had a first cousin who was living in Vacaville, California. So I drove down into Northern California, and at a restaurant, or maybe it was the hotel that I was staying in, I got in this conversation with a gentleman. And he was telling me that the biggest problem in California is water.
Mm.
And this was some 23, 24 years ago. So the issue in Los Angeles, and you can see this in movies, is all the concrete in the ditches. He was telling me that none of the water that falls in Southern California is used. It all runs out into the ocean.
Right.
In this botany book that I was teaching from, when you're studying the topography and the various vegetation that's in the state of California,
mm-hmm.
you see during your study, as you're reading, And I think I've got my numbers right, and I could be wrong, but since California was inhabited by the quote-unquote white man and developed, I believe it's 80% of what was swampland no longer exists. So you combine that with having houses in places that they don't need to be, and your succulents that are not taken care of, as you have alluded to, and the fact that the water that does fall is not used,
Right.
then you have what you have, combined with whatever is causing the wind issue that they're having, whether it's El Nino or whatever season it is out there in the Pacific that's pushing those winds. But that's why they have the problem. And as you were talking about earlier, whether or not it concerns you, there is a thing known as riparian rights, and they extend this as far as you want them to extend, and it has to do with your right as a human being or citizen of a particular area, and as it relates to the habitats or ecosystems that are around you.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's all I got, Joey.
And it's a mess. And did you hear the clip I played earlier? Trump just 4 months ago in L.A. County was saying, yeah, it's the water thing and the amount of runoff y'all let into the ocean. And to your point about how they essentially carved out this sprawling concrete jungle, you're just, well, I was about to say playing with fire. You are, literally.
Well, you're setting up this situation that they have now. And like you said earlier, it's something that is an annual thing, and they've accepted it. It's like a man told me once. He was the headmaster, and I was just some science teacher in his building. But he said the more abhorrent behavior you have, the more abhorrent behavior you have. You just start accepting it as usual, common, and henceforth you just kind of roll with it, and that's what they've got. And you combine that with all the tree huggers that they have out there, and there it is. I mean, it's a mess.
Well, and it's a great example, too, of what a rich part of the world California is. Look at all the wealth, natural resources, as well as money they have from innovation out there. And it shows you that money doesn't solve problems. And if you lose the capacity to create wealth and use it intelligently, then it can maybe cause more problems than solve any.
Okay, to your point, money doesn't solve problems. Let's say you have a drunk, and he's got $20, and when that's gone, that's all he's got. But if you have somebody with money and access, then you have a larger problem.
Oh, yeah. No, a great way maybe to curse some people is have them win the lottery.
And we know how that turns out.
Right.
Joey, I appreciate it. And if I win the lottery, I'm going to see if I maybe get you to help manage my money so I don't throw it all away.
I know. Okay.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Thanks, James. 272-9228. Yeah, that would not be a good idea. But yeah, Trump called this out like 4 months ago. Just for those who weren't listening in the first hour, let's listen in.
And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as water, what they call water flow, where where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border. And I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has. And the farmers up north are going to be able to use 100% of their land, not 1% of their land.
Again, Trump kind of just common senses his way through so much of this. It's absolutely awful. Again, to reiterate what we're seeing right now, but there's a reason these things are happening. 272-9228, and some might suggest there were things you should have done. Not yesterday, not a year ago, but many moons ago, to prevent the travesty and tragedy that we're seeing right now out there on the West Coast. Now I want to shift gears. Because Alabama's own Katie Britt is besties for the resties with John Fetterman. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, they're like best buds up there. Really do. It's a budding or blooming relationship, it seems like, friendship. And they went on together to Fox News talking about the Laken-Riley Act, but many other things. And I seriously find John Fetterman a breath of fresh air, especially when it comes to a guy that has a D next to his name. So I want to get into this a little bit. Let's watch these besties for the resties, Senator Britt and Senator Fetterman. Let's listen in to their sort of back and forth with Brett Baer, the man with no neck, on Fox News.
Illegal aliens who commit crimes must not be released into our communities. Our colleagues can't even use the term of art that's in the statute. Illegal alien. They can't even use that.
This is a great boon to those for-profit detention companies who make enormous profits from mandatory detention.
Well, the Laken-Riley Act passed today in the House, named, of course, for the woman who died in Georgia, February 2024, at the hands, authorities say, of an illegal immigrant. That passed 264 to 159, 48 House Democrats. It requires federal detention for illegal immigrants guilty of theft crimes. Senate action on that bill is now pending. It's time for our Common Ground segment. Joining us to talk about the Laken-Riley Act and other things, Alabama Republican Senator Katie Britt and Pennsylvania Democratic Senator John Fetterman. Thank you both for being here again in Common Ground. Why is this important, and how confident are you about the Senate action here?
Yeah, so I think we've seen this litigated over the last 4 years, time and time again. And I think on November 5th, the American people delivered a verdict and said, we want secure borders. We want you to prioritize the safety and security of Americans over open border policies. And so this is a common sense piece of legislation, obviously named after a remarkable young woman that was taken from this earth way too soon. And I think that the bipartisan support that you saw in the House, I am really hopeful will carry on into the Senate, and we're already seeing good traction from our Senate colleagues interested in coming on board.
Senator Fetterman, there are Democrats, obviously, who spoke out against this today. One of them, Congressman Raskin. Take a listen.
Pick a crime, paste into it a template immigration law covering convicted criminals, and then require detention or deportation of certain persons merely accused of committing the crime or arrested for committing the crime. No due process required at all. This allows us to get up and demonize immigrants.
No, so what do you say to that? You've signed on to this bill.
Oh, well, I mean, I have a lot of enormous respect for my colleague in the House, but I just happen to disagree on this. And for me, just like my friend and colleague in the Senate, like, it's really common sense. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend that, to allow them to remain in our nation? That. And now, if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that this was one of, if not the biggest issue for this election?
Well, I think if we can't, there's 47 of us in the Senate, and if we can't pull up with 7 votes, if we can't get at least 7 out of 47, and if we can't, then that's the reason why we lost. That's
wow. No, seriously, Fetterman keeps saying things that just make too much daggum sense. This morning, I think a 4th Democrat in the Senate jumped onto this named Ruben Gallego, guy from Arizona. And so that's now Fetterman, Gallego, Gary Peters, Democrat from Michigan, and Senator John Ossoff from Georgia is also expected to vote to advance the bill. So we'll see. With 4 Democrats already supporting the legislation, Republicans need 4 more, 8 total, to break a filibuster and actually pass the daggum thing. So I think Fetterman, though, is very wise despite his issues. Like, he sounds like the guy who's going to play the middle, be reasonable. And this team up, this like besties for the resties thing with Senator Britt, I think it's working out. Let's keep listening.
That's one of them. That's one of why we lost, in part.
Go ahead.
Brett, if you think about that, I mean, that's what he's saying, needing the 7 votes to be able to debate this bill. And I think the American people have already answered that question. They have said, we want you to find ways to have common sense, bipartisan solutions to help us secure our border and keep our country and communities safe. And so I'm hopeful that our colleagues will come together and say, let's talk about this.
Well, I mean, I've been in this same chair, and I was arguing about a year ago saying that, you can be pro-immigration, but we need a secure border, and we have a serious issue here on the border, and we have to address that.
Okay, I got to pause it there. Just like an optics point of view, Senator Britt, as she usually is dressed to the nines. John Fetterman's wearing a frickin' hoodie. And I know he caught a lot of flack for that, but honestly, I don't mind the hoodie. It's just, it's an interesting pair up, and I got a feeling these two actually are becoming fast friends. Let's go to Papa B. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And, Mark, with Mark Zuckerberg with Rand Paul Harris. Rand Paul Harris is not the worst choice. He could do worse.
Now, are you on speakerphone, by the way?
Nope. I'm in countdown just a lot.
You sound muffled.
How about that?
That's a little better. Yeah.
Okay. No, he could do worse than Rand Paul Harris. What's that representative from South Carolina? Looks like he could win the AG dog contest. Never can remember his name.
Trey Gowdy?
Yeah, Trey. He could have Trey Gowdy hair. That would be, I would say, worse than Rand Paul hair.
Yeah, Trey Gowdy hair is worse than Rand Paul hair. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Fetterman, I can't help it. Every time I look at the guy, I think Neanderthal or missing link or something. Maybe he is finding religion. I don't know. But we'll, I guess, see how he goes. But on this California fire deal, is Eddie still there?
No.
You gone?
Yes.
Why, Joey, did I get the sneaky feeling that every time California's budgets start running low, somebody lights a fire, for some disaster money. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I tell you what, I don't know. I'm suspicious about stuff like that sometimes. I mean, man-made fire, for real, especially at a prime time when everything's dry. You know where you're putting it. Something just, my antenna,
Or it could be some wacko, too. That's been happening, whether it's just some nihilist or somebody with an agenda. These are more like literally fire set by men more than people realize, I think.
I think so, too. And, the motive, it could, range widely. But I'm always, me, ADD, ADHD, with a touch of dyslexia probably, so I'm, automatic, like, conspiracy guy. Who knows? But I find it a little bit suspicious, that's all. But anyway, listen, I appreciate you letting me call in. Enjoy the show as usual.
Thanks, Papa B. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this? Anybody there? Anybody at all? Okay. Line 4. Hey.
Check one.
Hey, Sam. How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing very well today. I had a few minutes, and I was thinking about the conversation. Let me tell you, I called once. I think it was that second line phone again because it just dumped me, and now the echo is like crazy. But I'm going to get this out. Fetterman, I think really the only person that he has to worry about sidling up with the junior senator from the great state of Alabama, Mrs. Katie Britt, is Wesley. Wesley, her husband, fine guy, a former football player from the great University of Alabama. But I'm just saying, throwing that out there. But if he doesn't like Fetterman, when I met Wesley the first time, I thought he had rabies. Okay, this was just natural. Well, anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Right after the election, Joy, someone said, as good as this is, we got Trump in. We're going to have to beat the Democrats twice.
Did you just say that our senator's husband looked like he had rabies?
Yeah, so Baumhauer's, there's a light foam and whatnot. I handed him a napkin and he snapped at my finger. I said, "Hey, watch that now."
You dirty dog. You dirty.
They are excellent, man. When you meet a fine couple, and the Brits are it, man. But Fetterman, who knows what can? I'm not, like I said, we're going to have to beat them again solidly in another good election. They're not changing their ways and still scheming. So
I will say, I think the hoodie plays.
Man, just feels like an institutionalized look. I said my 2 cents. Let me get off here, man.
All right, appreciate it, Sam.
Nah, yeah, man, you take care.
No, it is an interesting pairing, Fetterman and Britt. I kind of want to keep going with this because Fetterman, again, he keeps making a lot of sense. I'm going to jump ahead in the conversation, though, here.
Section 2, sitting down, asking questions, understanding the vision, understanding what they want to do for the American people. And John giving them that shot, and they have to answer his questions, but that's the way that it should be done.
Talking about all the Trump appointees that have to go through the confirmation process.
Let me ask you this about the press conference today. Obviously the American people voted on the issue of the economy, on the issue of immigration. Did you think that they were voting for taking over Panama or getting Greenland as a part of the U.S.?
So, Brett, what I think they did vote for is regaining American strength, that peace through strength, that respect in the world, that regaining our footing to where our allies respect us and our enemies fear us. They want to make sure that we get the hostages back in Gaza. They want to make sure that the Abraham Accords are not only there, but are expanded on. And they want us to regain our footing. And so that's what you saw today, was a reshaping of that.
Well, hold on. Sorry to interrupt, Senator. But I've just been kind of in my own little world and on X, and I think Trump, the Panama Canal talk, the Greenland talk, all that's awesome. It's amazing. Because I don't watch corporate media anymore, is Fox News really the important straight news side? Are they really poo-pooing this? Well, that's just crazy talk. You are a bunch of weenies. I don't even know you, Brett Baer, but if you're just they didn't really, the American people didn't vote for you, weenie. It's an awesome idea. It's a fun idea. It actually makes a heck of a lot of sense on a lot of different fronts, but of course, it's not what the American people voted on. At least that's what we tell the American people to believe. Anyway, I think Fetterman's actually about to agree with me.
An America starting to lead, and I think you'll see that from President Trump.
You think there'll be more of these parts? Go ahead.
Can I talk about there's a lot of talk about Greenland, for example. Now, and I know there's a lot of freakouts, and of course I would never support taking it by force. But I do think it's a responsible conversation if they were open to acquiring it, and whether just buying it outright. I mean, if anyone think that's bonkers, it's well, remember the Louisiana Purchase? Well, I think Alaska was a great deal too. $50 million, I think it was. It was referred to as Seward's Folly, and now that was Alaska now. So I mean, open to having all kinds of conversations as well. And now I don't think it's not helpful to freak out, but some things might work out, some may not, but that's part of an ongoing dialogue. But he hasn't even taken office in 2 weeks, and we really need to pace ourselves if we're going to freak out over every last tweet or every last conversation or press conference. Because, but
that's good. That's a good one, John. I like it. I like it.
I'm telling you, folks, they're besties for the resties. Fetterman and Britt, fast friends being made as freshman senators, and now they've been there for 40 years. Maybe they'll get a moon base named after them or something. 272-9228. That's 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And that River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours. It could be an asphalt or a metal roof. Either needs to be checked out on a regular basis. A lot of manufacturers say, hey, every 3 to 5 years. But why not do it every year when you work with River Region Contracting, especially if you've heard bumps in the middle of the night and storms rolling through? You just are a little worried and preoccupied by it. Why not call up River Region Contracting and find some peace of mind at 356-8635? And they're like, but how much does it cost? Their inspections are always free there at River Region Contracting. And their estimates are always free. If they do find an issue, they'll write that up for free. And that estimate's always accurate. They show up on time. They get the job done well without leaving a big mess behind either. And they're insurance specialists at River Region Contracting, so they can walk you through that claims process and make it a swift and easy experience. So check them out today. That, again, is River Region Contracting. There's a lot of reasons just listed that folks are calling them the premier roofing contractor in the area. That number, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey fellow on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time, every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, in stock specials on waterproof luxury vinyl plank and engineered hardwood flooring at blowout sale prices. H&H Carpet, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Well, hi, everybody. Arctic air will continue to be the main story in our forecast for the next few days. For tonight, clear skies, very cold. Overnight low temperature down to about 22 by first thing in the morning. Tomorrow, I think there'll be a good bit of sun with a high temperature up to about 47. And then late Thursday night, early Friday, there could be a mix of some rain, maybe a little bit of snow, perhaps a little bit of freezing rain, then turning to all rain during the day on Friday. In our part of the state, we're not expecting any major travel issues, but we will continue to watch the forecast carefully. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I already put up all the other cameras because Eddie left, but Pamela stopped by early.
I saw an empty chair, so yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Of course.
And we've been covering all sorts of things today. From
I know.
Mark Zuckerberg's reform of his ways to Senator Fetterman and Senator Britt being besties for the rest of these to these fires.
I know.
It's pretty awful.
It's terrible. Did you see what Donald Trump said?
Oh, he said many things.
Well, yeah, he's calling him out.
Gavin Newsom?
Yes.
Yeah, I did see that, and we report on that a little earlier. Yeah, no, Trump in many ways has no chill, but I'm kind of here for it. And for folks who haven't read it or haven't seen the statement, let me do this real quick. See how long I can keep the Trump voice going. Governor Gavin Newsom, not Newsom, refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snowmelt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas which are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. He wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt by giving it less water. It didn't work, but didn't care about the people of California. Now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that this incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California. Flow into California, folks. He is to blame for this. On top of all, no water for fire hydrants, not firefighting planes. A true disaster.
A true disaster. Also a disaster, the fact that that camera, the frame, missed all of the hand gestures.
I could lower it a little bit. But, I mean, you have to do the hands.
It was all there.
You have to do the hands.
Yeah.
If you want to do Trump, you have to do the hands.
But the fact that they don't clear the forest properly, too. I mean, they're setting themselves up for this every year.
And
it's
then
like they never learn.
And then you get the freak things like where act of God or Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it, like surprises you. Like these winds are massive.
Terrible.
So it's like it's a perfect storm, literally. Let's go to T-Spear, who I think wants to talk about the Panama Canal. Hey, T-Spear.
Oh, I'd love to talk about all of it. But yeah, the Panama Canal is important. So is the Gulf of America. So is Greenland. Do you not think that Donald Trump is using all of those aspects so that he can work quietly on the side to fix a lot of the crap that Biden has done?
Yes.
It's all the same things that we see that are put out in front of us to cause alarm. He's just using the same playbook in a different way.
Right. He gets the media talking about what he wants them talking about, not whatever they come up with.
Very much so. And as far as John Fetterman, eventually I would not be surprised to see that man open up his eyes and realign with the true republic of this country, the republic.
I think
the
it'll
Republican
be this year.
Party is not the true republic, but still they're far better than what the Democrats are. I wouldn't be surprised about seeing that. And as far as Gavin Newsom is concerned, the people of California keep putting damn Democrats in office. What do they expect?
Yeah, it's been failure after failure after failure. And I think it is sort of a curse of being too blessed, too wealthy, too many natural resources to where life is pretty grand and perfect weather most of the time.
Yeah.
And
Very much so.
So sometimes the big one comes around, though.
Very much so. Anyway, y'all keep up the good work. Pam, it's so good to have you with us.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate it,
You're
T-Spirit.
welcome. Yep. See you later. Bye.
2729228.
I don't remember who I saw tweet it earlier, but it was something they said, you know, Trump is talking about Greenland and Canada and the Gulf of America so that when he takes over England, it's a shock to everybody.
It's a diversion.
Yes.
I'm taking over the UK. I'm the crown prince or something like that.
Yeah.
No, there's all sorts of buzz online about his son, but the young one, Barron Trump.
Really?
He's a tall man. He's been whispering in Trump's ear. And the memes are like, Father, tweet this.
I know. Well, he definitely had a hand, I think, in the podcast for sure coming up because that's a young person's universe.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, we're the older.
Yeah, but we're
part
still
of
younger.
that. Yeah, but we're still younger. But we're definitely the older side of the generation that's, you know, in this realm of media and everything now.
Yeah, and I think it worked beautifully. I find the Trump, Greenland, Panama Canal, all this stuff, I think this is just fantastic. And it's to signal strength. It's to signal the sort of madman, like, hey, don't mess with Trump.
He's capable of anything, and guess what? He'll show you.
Right. And also, like, the press, are they going to be like weenies the whole time? Especially the guys who are like, will you or will you not bomb this one particular spot at this exact date and time?
I know.
No, what I told you is all hell will break loose, and it won't be good for Hamas. It won't be good for anybody, but it won't. Like vague threats actually people go, well, what the? It allows the person who's reacting's imagination to run wild. To where instead of Trump saying a specific thing, it sort of allows the person to project their worst fear onto it.
Yep.
And it's just some of these folks in the press are miserable. Like when I heard, I did not pay that close attention. I was more caught up with like the budding friendship of Fetterman and Britt. But Brett Bayer's framing like, oh, really, this Greenland talk? Did the American people really vote for this? It's like, oh, shut up, Brett.
I know.
And you still need to say my name. It's the one time I'm on national TV because the Riverfront Brawl and Captain Jim calls into this show and you steal a clip from my show. You didn't say my name, Brett. Still mad about that.
There is a reason to be testy about that for sure.
Besties for the resties. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is Jonathan with Oswald's Apparel and Footwear in Prattville. With all that's changed in the last decade, I really thought that radio advertising was dead, but I was wrong. We opened our store during the pandemic, and we wouldn't have been near successful without advertising on Blue Water. Practically every day, someone comes in for the first time and tells us they heard about Oswald's on the radio. I highly recommend advertising with Blue Water.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the river region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing today?
Oh, we're all right. It's now me and Pamela. Eddie had to leave early.
Yeah, I snuck
Yeah,
in.
I heard. I've been in my truck periodically, running from one place to the other, and now I'm at the AT&T store because I'm tired of Angie complaining about her phone being so old.
There you go.
Well, the problem is you don't want to swap. I'm tired of hearing her say the phone don't work. I'm like, well, baby, it's 8 years old. They don't last forever.
No, they're
And
made
she's
to
like, but I know how to
be
use
switched out.
this one. I don't want a new one. Yeah, she's cheap.
Well, she doesn't
And,
probably want to relearn all that stuff, you know?
Well, she's fixing to have to, because I'm just going to bring her home and say, here you go.
Well,
There's certain times
survival of the fittest there.
Well,
She'll
Ray,
get it. She'll get it.
I'm not married, so I don't. If you're looking for advice, I don't think. Good luck is all I have to say. Good luck.
Yeah, well, there's certain things in life where I'm just tired of hearing it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go handle this, and then here you go, I handle it. Let's move on. And if you're that way with your floor, and you've been threatening to replace your flooring, and you don't want to move the furniture, and you don't want to have to deal with everything, hey, we're going to make it so simple. It's just call us, 285-8117. When we come out, we'll give you that free measurement. We'll bring you all kind of different floors to look at. And then from there, we make it as painless as possible.
Again, folks, that number 285-8117. When you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio, trying to just get in there and solve problems for the love of his life.
Hey, did you mention about the inmates needing to get their license back?
No, it went back to the forest fires. If we got time, if you want to tell folks.
Next time, yeah, okay. So, talking about the jails and people going to prison and stuff, when they get out, it is a nightmare to get their driver's license back. I mean, an absolute nightmare. I helped a friend. We became friends. I helped him out. Long story. $3,000 it took to get his license back.
God.
And they're wondering why these men and women are going back immediately. Because how can they get a job without a driver's license?
That's absolutely nuts. Yeah, no, and there is certainly here in Alabama, we do not have the whole, okay, you serve your time, now welcome back to society thing down.
No.
No. And the other part, we don't have any kind of mass transit. The only choice we have is to drive.
Very true.
Yeah.
And so that would be the one thing I would ask the legislatures to do is when they let somebody out, immediately give them their license back and clear out all their fines. And at least give them a leg up to make it where they don't go back.
Yeah.
If
It's just
you go back,
some
you're on
basic,
your own.
basic floor for people to stand on when they go out.
Yeah. Give them the floor to stand on. And if they end up going back, it's on them. But the fellow I helped out, he's making $80,000 a year, and he'll never go back.
Beautiful.
So
There are lots of stories like that.
Yeah, tons of stories. But the number one thing, and you know what, when I get a phone, I'm calling Jerry, my state senator, representative, and say, hey, y'all really got to get over this deal and give them the license back. All right, well, that's my soapbox. If y'all need the floor, call me.
Appreciate it, Ray. Have a good one.
Thanks, y'all.
So I'm trying to think, what did I learn today? I mean, I learned that, man, I'm glad I don't live in Los Angeles for all sorts of reasons.
Yep.
I learned that Marjorie Taylor Greene is
I
introduced.
don't think that's a revelation today, though, probably.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I still would like to visit, like at least see, like go
I
to,
would too.
and like go, like, and then leave the Los Angeles area and go like vacation in Tahoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Go hang out on the boat or something.
That would be nice. I really want to go to Northern California.
Yeah, I've heard,
Much more.
It's very, very nice, but yeah, I don't want to live out there.
No.
Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced a bill to change the name to Gulf of America. It's appropriate. It's very appropriate.
It is.
We've learned that more Democrats are coming on board to support the Laken Riley immigration bill. John Fetterman teaming up with Senator Brett trying to encourage more people to join in from the Democrat side. They need 7 votes in total from the Democrats in order to get this thing to pass. We also learned that Alabama is 6th in the nation for movers in 2024. Yeah, a lot of people moving to the state.
Well,
So and we can't be that bad. Well, it's low cost of living around these parts.
and it's beautiful. I love it here. I won't move away.
Well, it's what I know, so I sort of take it for granted.
But I can see why they would move here, but not too many. Keep it slow.
Yeah, well, the
No.
northern part of the state is, I think, bringing in a lot of the stuff.
A lot.
Not necessarily what we're doing here. And I learned that I need to watch more of this consumer electronics thing because some of this stuff is just startling.
I'm trying to be less startled day to day.
Like NVIDIA announces Project Digits, a $3,000 personal supercomputer with 1,000 times the power of an average laptop. For $3,000, you have that amount of computing power?
That is a good deal.
Or it's called a portal graph. It's a 3D projector that can project virtual reality into the real world. And I'm looking at a video example.
Oh,
It
you know
looks
who
like-
also has that technology, I bet.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was going to say China, but it really is remarkable. Like it looks like a little nymph or something, like E-Girl dancing. Of course, that's what those bros made. Like some little anime chick. Like, and now, like a Roomba, like a
Yeah.
robot vacuum. They've now created, it looks like a Roomba, but it has a arm that retracts out and can move things that are in its way. And it's moving a sock right now. I'm looking at it.
No, it can go retrieve things. So people
Yeah.
are like, the remote is across the room, or
Well, at least if it's on the floor, it's more to get things out of its way.
no, it's going to be used for other things.
A 360 AI-powered body scanning health mirror that can scan your heart, weight, and metabolic health. And it has like all these graphics inlaid to the mirror itself.
Interesting. I don't know if I'd bring that technology into my home.
Also like a clear television screen, so it almost just looks like it's in space.
Yeah.
Pretty remarkable. A pen that you write things down and it will automatically, it'll sync with your phone and you'll have that handwritten note on your phone.
I think I have seen that.
Very cool.
That's neat.
More EVs coming out. A foldable TV projector, like you can ball it up into like just a tiny case. And then, of course, $1,400 Moonwalker X shoes that go 7 miles an hour. They have a little wheel in the back. So a bunch of nerd crap. Anyway, I've already wasted too much time. Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg and Pamela. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Aircraft have returned to the skies over Pacific Palisades, California to dump water on the wildfires burning across L.A. The helicopters were grounded Tuesday night due to high winds. Hundreds of firefighters are also fighting the blazes on the ground. 3 massive fires are tearing across the L.A. area with devastating force, destroying more than 1,000 structures and killing at least 2 people.